Hello, everybody, and welcome to Heinz Field for the WPIAL High School Football Championship. The first game today, a Class A game between the Duquesne Dukes. They'll try to knock off two-time defending champion Rochester Rams. I'm Trendy Kuzniak. I'll be your host and sideline reporter for today's festivities. But for right now, let's send it up to Guy Junker and Mike White up in the booth. Guys?
Trendy, thank you very much, and we're proud here at Fox Sports Net for the 7th straight year to bring you all 4 championship games in the WPIAL. Today I'm joined by the Post-Gazette Scholastic sports editor Mike White, my former partner on High School Extra. Mike, this first game today, we talked about it on Pittsburgh Sports Tonight last night. These two teams combined have played 24 games. They've attempted in those 24 games 155 passes. We're going to see a lot of running in this game today.
You sure will, Guy. And really, it's been proven time and time again that teams win championships by running the football. I mean, if you just look at Rochester, they've won 2 straight championships. They've completed a total of 4 passes in those 2 games. So whoever runs the football better today will win this game.
Well, nobody's run the football better in all of the WPIAL this year than Wendell Brown of Duquesne, arguably the best running back in any classification.
Well, brown is one of the main colors of fall, right? And when you play Duquesne, everything seems to turn brown, as in Wendell Brown. Guy, I think he's one of the most versatile players in the WPIAL. He's Mr. Everything to the Dukes. 40 touchdowns this year, averaging on those touchdowns 36 yards, 29 touchdown runs, 5 touchdown catches, 4 touchdowns on kickoff returns, and 2 touchdowns on interception returns. He does everything, and if Rochester doesn't control him, they're going to have problems. In the playoffs, 230 yards average in 3 playoff games on the ground.
Now, he played behind Todd Harris last year. Harris graduated. Harris over 5,000 rushing yards, one of only 9 backs in WPIAL history to do that. So some people think he sort of came out of nowhere, but he was pretty talented even as a wingback when he touched the ball.
Well, even a year ago, Pat Monroe, Duquesne's coach, said that Wendell Brown might be the best athlete he's ever coached, and he's proving it this year. And he has grown up a lot. As a freshman guy, he was 5'7", 135 pounds. Now he's around 6 foot, about 190, has major college interests, so he's really grown up, and Duquesne's grown with him.
The feature back for Rochester is another guy we saw in this championship game last year who's come into his own now is the main man, and that's Nate Waldron.
Well, last year he lived in the shadows of Jermaine Moy and Javon Bradley. He had a big game down here in the championship, but this year he has really started to shine. He's only a junior, over 1,200 yards rushing for the year. In the playoffs, all 3 games he's been over 100 yards. And he's also pretty good on defense. Guy, he was one of the few freshmen in Rochester history to ever be brought up to the varsity as a freshman. And now he's carrying this team with their running game. Rochester relies on the run. They need a big game either from Waldron or his halfback teammate, Mitch Getman.
Well, you talk about Rochester history, and they've certainly made some in recent years. They've won 3 of the last 4 WPIAL titles and 3 of the last 4 state titles, trying to make it 4 out of 5 here today. The first of 4 championship games live here on Fox Sports Net today. Coming up next, the Class A game between Duquesne and Rochester.
Hey everyone, this is Rob Pratt, and welcome to my world, the world of my good friend George Leon at West Penn Billiards and their brand new location, Route 19 South in Cannonsburg, the #1 pool table dealer in the nation. West Penn Billiards, the only dealer for the top 5 brands of pool tables at all the top manufacturers on bars and stools and related game room equipment. Family owned and operated for 40 years. Stop by any of their 3 locations in the North Hills, Murraysville, and the new store, Route 19 South, Cannonsburg. Get the best price and service. It's guaranteed. West Penn Billiards.
Honey, breakfast is ready.
Okay, Puddin'. Just getting the paper.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
What's up?
Hey.
Good morning.
You know, you can get the trim delivered to your home every day for 13 weeks, just $9.99.
It takes a team to turn an empty office into a comfortable, functional workplace. It begins with designers who can maximize your floor space, experts who consistently deliver the lowest prices on fine furniture from Hahn and Allsteel, and experienced installers who have earned their reputation over nearly half a century. Expertise, experience, and excellence. Trust the business furniture team at Workplace Furnishings by Mount Lebanon Office Equipment.
Premier Lincoln Mercury used vehicles starting at just $49.95. Premier Lincoln Mercury luxury sport and SUV. Premier Lincoln Mercury, your certified pre-owned dealer, save thousands. Premier Lincoln Mercury many cars under $10,000. Premier Lincoln Mercury bankruptcy, bad credit, or no credit, you could have pre-approved credit right now. Premier Lincoln Mercury, you could get that second chance you deserve. Premier Lincoln Mercury. Used cars start at just $49.95 at Premier Lincoln Mercury, Route 19 North, Cranberry Township.
Welcome back to Heinz Field. The WPIAL Football Championships on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review. Get a better read on sports. And by McDonald's. We love to see you smile. And by UPMC Health System. Choose your health care as if your life depended on it. We're about ready for the opening kickoff. The coin toss was won by Duquesne. They're in the white uniforms. They will receive. There's Pat Monroe. He's the head coach of the Dukes. Here's how they got here. They beat Chartiers Houston in the first round. Monessen, they fell down 14-0 in that game and stormed back. And then they won last week against Monaca. There you see how Rochester got here. Their 3 wins. Kickoff is taken at the 15-yard line. Field is wet. It's rained most of the morning. But a nice return after an initial stumble for the Dukes. Corey Gibson tackled by Danny Fike.
And Guy, you know, a big thing in all these games today is going to be the field condition. And we see right here, right off the bat, some bad footing right off the bat for Duquesne with Corey Gibson. He gains his balance and has a nice return, gives him good field position. But Guy, this field already, we're seeing already big chunks of grass coming up on the first play of the game.
31-yard return, and the Dukes set it down on their own 46. Great field position. It's been a problem for the Steelers, for Pitt, and for everybody playing here, and the weather certainly hasn't helped. Mike, I can't remember a year. It's rained almost every Friday. These guys are used to playing in bad weather, that's for sure. There's Wendell Brown. First carry of the game. He breaks it loose, gets into Rochester territory. He's all the way down to the 34-yard line. Nate Tucker and Jamar Law brought him down, but he got an initial bit of space there at the line of scrimmage, and if you don't get him there and he has some daylight, you're not going to tackle him for a while.
All Pat Monroe's hoping to do is get him past that first line of defenses, and that is what happened there. That is not a good sign for Rochester, guy, starting off with that. Wendell Brown, as I said, if he can get past that first line, he can do some real damage, and that's what he did there.
For 3 playoff games, he has 690 yards. He got 21 on that first carry. I formation, second man through, is going to be a Brown again. He's going to try the outside this time. Doesn't have nearly as much success. Doesn't quite get to the 30-yard line where he's brought down by Mitch Getman.
You know, Guy, Rochester's a very physical team up on the front line. And as you see the starters there for Duquesne, watch out for, as we've been talking about before, for Wendell Brown. There's a good offensive line who's opened some holes for him. He would not be doing what he's done this year without that good offensive line, Guy. But I don't know, man on man. We'll see how they can handle Rochester because they're a very physical team.
Courtney Dunn in the backfield. Oh, what a leading the blocking right there for Brown, but this time he loses a yard. Good play by Mitchell Getman. Let's take a look at that Rochester defense, and it's a good one. They gave up the big first run, but they're holding tough now. Tyler Palm and Nate Tucker, your defensive ends. The nose tackles, Todd Jarrett, Matt Weiss, and Skylar Freed, who was mainly a hockey player until a sophomore. Then he switched to football, and he's been excellent. Jim Sadler, he's getting a lot of attention from the colleges. Mitch Getman, Danny Fike, and Jamar Law are your secondary for Rochester. So we have a 3rd and 10 now. First pressure situation for the Duquesne offense. Opening drive, good return and a great first run by Brown. Rochester's defense comes in sync. He goes down the left sideline, breaks it free, and it's a touchdown for Duquesne.
Wow.
Wendell Brown, 33 yards, and the Dukes are up 6-0. Ty Barlow with a big block that time helps bring Brown loose.
You know, Guy, there's really no secret to this game. It's going to be Wendell Brown left. It's going to be Wendell Brown right. It's going to be Wendell Brown up the middle. If Rochester, boy, this is a terrible start for Rochester. Their defense, Guy, as you see here, good kick-out block. Wendell Brown breaks a man at the line of scrimmage. Rochester has to start wrapping up at the line of scrimmage, Guy. Wendell Brown keeps breaking tackles at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a long day for the Rams.
4 plays, 54 yards. Barely took 2 minutes. The place kicker for Duquesne is Brandon McCall. Mike, he's one of the guys that came from Wilson Christian Academy. Duquesne had been down so much, and here's the kick. and it's up and good. They had been down in terms of players. Pat Monroe said, hey, we were practicing against air. We didn't have enough guys to run a scout team. Well, this Wilson Christian Academy had a deal with South Allegheny, and they, this year, now have the deal with Duquesne. So they picked up 8 guys, and it helped fill out their roster, including the kicker, who just made it 7-0.
Well, it has helped them some, but, hey, this guy's the reason they are here.
And that's a good program anyway, but you like to have a few more numbers anyway.
You know, 2 years ago, guys, they were down to 19 players for a playoff game against Greensburg Central Catholic. Duquesne was. That makes it hard to practice. Now they're up to around 33 on the team. Last year, Wilson Christian Academy had a cooperative sponsorship with South Allegheny. South Allegheny dropped Wilson Christian Academy from that sponsorship. When we say a cooperative sponsorship, that means kids from Wilson Christian Academy can go play for South Allegheny. But what it did is it knocked South Allegheny up into AAA. So they got rid of Wilson Christian. And Wilson Christian hooked up with Duquesne. And you'll see one of their better players on defense for Duquesne is also from Wilson Christian Academy, Shane Brooks. He's a linebacker, so it's helped them for numbers, and it's helped them with a couple of players.
Bill McCall, one of the kids from Wilson Christian, will be kicking off. Back deep to receive for Rochester, Jamar Law, Danny Fike, and Nate Waldron. 7-0 Duquesne on the first drive of the football game. The ball's taken at the 15-yard line by Waldron. He gets out over the 30 to the 35 and about the 36 or 37-yard line. So pretty good field position for Rochester in their first possession, too. Mike Robinson and Ty Barlow on the kickoff tackles. There you see Jeff Peternell-Jitz's numbers for the year. They don't throw a lot, but this is some pretty good yardage. 13 touchdown passes and 828 yards, Mike.
It is. They'll hit you with a big play here and there. And, that's what the key is. If Duquesne can keep away from a couple of those big passing plays, that's a key. But Rochester will run the ball, especially early in the game here.
Waldron off the right side, gets out over the 40-yard line. Wendell Brown. We talk about Brown on offense, Mike. He's their leading tackler, too, on defense.
Leading tackler and also leads them in sacks, Guy. What does this kid do? I saw him selling programs and some popcorn outside the stadium before the game.
There are your Rochester backs and receivers. Offensive line, Jarrett Weiss, Manarino, Goodwin Sadler, and Skylar Freed.
Jim Sadler, watch him there.
Number
Excellent
66.
player. Had a big game down here last year, Guy. I don't know if you remember that.
2nd and 6, the ball right on the 40-yard line. Rochester's first possession. Left side, this is Getman, and he has some running room. He gets out to about the 47-yard line. David Diggs makes the stop, and that's going to be close to a first down.
Well,
they moved the chains. He got it.
Mitch Getman, we talked about Nate Waldron, but Mitch Getman's had a pretty good year this year also, Guy. Over 600 yards. A converted tight end last year, and Rochester always seems to come up with these running backs, and here's another one here with Mitch Getman. Right now, you're going to see Duquesne probably play 10 guys in the box. Right now, it looks like what they're doing on defense, Guy. But Rochester, they'll come up mano on mano and try and power you.
3 backs in the backfield. Nobody split out at all. And it's going to be Getman left side. He's hit hard, but he picks up about 4 yards before Courtney Dunn, the middle linebacker, makes the stop. Now, Mike, maybe you can explain to some of the casual high school fans out there the big difference between the smaller schools and the bigger. You see these guys playing both sides of the ball. You got 8 or 9 guys playing offense and defense. By the time we get to quad A tonight, more specialization.
There is more specialization, although a lot of North Hills' players play both sides of the ball. And the biggest thing, Guy, is the size. There's just a lot more size in the bigger classifications.
Tight formation, full house backfield, handoff left side. Getman on the outside, has some running room. This is just what Rochester needed, Mike. They give up the touchdown. Instead of being stunned, they come right back. Hey, last week in their game against Carmichael's, they fell down early. Carmichael scored in their first possession. Rochester comes back, boom. 4 straight possessions, 4 touchdowns, game over.
That full house backfield, I mean, there's no secret what Rochester's going to do. They're going to run a football. Watch, guys, sooner or later they'll try and do a little pop pass or maybe break a little bit of a deep pass. Duquesne right now is 10 men in the box.
Mike, you had some great numbers in your column in the Post-Gazette today about the teams that run in the playoffs and how well they do. I mean, we've seen some great passing teams in Western Pennsylvania, but when you start getting into November in bad weather, you got to be able to at least do both. You can't rely just on the pass.
Well, really in the larger classes, Guy, but in single A, teams have just, they've won by running the football in single A. You don't see much passing. Every year it seems like the teams that get to the single A championship hardly pass the ball at all. And if you look, the way to win a championship, run the football. in the last 10 years, guy, in the 40 championships, the winning team has won the game on the ground 32 times. In other words, the team that has more yards rushing has won 32 the last 40 championship games. That tells you
I know
enough
you
right
mentioned
there.
Tony Zimmerman and a good passing offense they had at Penn Trafford, but they didn't win any titles with it. All right, it's going to be 3rd and about 6 inches for Rochester. Their first critical play of the ball game on offense. The ball on the Duquesne 42-yard line. In case you happened to join us late, Duquesne took the opening kickoff, took them just 4 plays to score a touchdown. Who else? Wendell Brown with a 33-yard run made it 7-0 Duquesne. There's Jeff Peternell-Jitz, the quarterback for Rochester. They basically asked their quarterback to hand off, don't fumble, be a field general, and that's it. By the way, the 2 names, Peternell-Jitz, his father passed away. His name was Peternell, and his mother remarried, and that's why he uses the hyphenated name.
You know, Peternell-Jitz, Mitch Getman, and Danny Fike, guy, they've been in some big-time places. You know, all 3 of them were freshmen on Rochester's baseball team that played in the WPIAL Championship at Three Rivers Stadium. Then they played in the football championship at Three Rivers, now Heinz Field the last 2 years.
All right, we had a problem with the game clock. They've reset the time, and now we see if they can pick up 6 inches for a first down, and they do. Running the ball off the right side is Josh Krebs, his first carry of the game. Stopped by Avery Smith, but not before the Rams get a 1st and 10. I liked it years ago when the Rams had the old Rams helmets with the horns, just like the Los Angeles Rams did at one time.
Oh, there you go, living in the past.
I know, that's my life. I'm so old, there's nothing left in the future.
Josh Krebs, the fullback in this team, guy. Really, he wasn't a starter until about the 4th or 5th game of the year. They were experimenting with a number of players. He grabbed the job in about the 5th game, has held it ever since. Rochester
lost twice this year. They lost their opener to New Brighton. New Brighton's a AA team. Then they lost to their big rival, Monaca, by 1 point. They had some injuries in that game. Waldron spinning off the right side, picks up good yardage. And this is a good drive by Rochester. Now, they didn't pick it up in huge chunks the way Duquesne did, but it's been methodical. And we were talking before the game, Mike, that's sort of what you have here. Rochester kind of a smash mouth, grind-it-out team. Duquesne, that's an overgeneralization, but Duquesne a little more finesse and a little more athleticism.
Well, Wendell Brown will try to break big plays, and Rochester, like you said, they'll gain, try to get it 3, 4, 5 yards at a chunk. And you see there, Patman Road, Gene Matzel. You know, this guy, he still doesn't know what it's like to not win a championship.
He's in his 3rd year, and he's won 2 WPIALs, 2 states. Here you go, left side. And picks up a couple of yards, not many. Leighton Dunn with the tackle. Wasn't a whole lot there that time for Tyler Palm, his first carry of the game.
You know, sitting here saying you live in the past. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, guy, you know, it was 18 years ago, these same 2 teams met in the WPIAL Championship at Mount Lebanon Stadium. I was there. I covered it.
Did you?
24-0. Yusef Washington, remember that name, was a sophomore quarterback for Duquesne.
Well, Rochester had a Monday night game back in the early 80s because of a terrible storm and power outage on a Friday night. We did Monday Night Football on the radio out in Rochester. Waldron right side. He's got some room across the 30, 25, 20. Pushed out of bounds at the 19-yard line.
And you know why that play worked, guy? I'll tell you. Mitch Getman, number 33, did a great job getting the block on the corner. Nate Waldron turns it up inside. Watch Getman.
Leighton Dunn, the strong safety, pushes him out.
Wendell Brown. Then Nate Waldron made the correct cut inside, picks up some nice yardage. Wendell Brown's a very good defensive player also, guy, but I think with everything he can do offensively in college, you got to put him on the offensive side of the ball. He said a few weeks ago he probably will commit to the University of Pittsburgh in a few weeks. Bowling Green has offered him. Virginia is recruiting him.
Toledo.
Yes.
Yep. Might be the hometown hero. I watched that Pitt game last night. That would make you want to go there. Good ball game. They fell short down in the Orange Bowl, though. Not a whole lot of room off the left side for Josh Krebs, but you're getting down in 4-down territory now. Jamie Demery with the stop for Duquesne.
Here's what to watch in this game, guys. By the 3rd and 4th quarter, will Rochester wear down Duquesne? Rochester's pretty big, and they like the power of the football. They might wear down the Dukes. That's what Pat Monroe, Duquesne's coach right there, was a little worried about, and that's what they have to watch. We'll see how their conditioning is in the second half.
It's 2nd and 7. The ball's on the 16. This was the 10th play of this drive for Rochester. Power eye, left side. Waldron, he's met head on, but he gets down to the 10, and he's going to be close to the first down, but I don't think he quite got far enough. David Diggs couple of helmet-to-helmet hits there. Take a look at it again from ground level.
Power again off the left side. Right now, Duquesne's being overpowered, guy, and Rochester has the speed, I think, to keep Wendell Brown from breaking it around the outside on offense, but I don't know if they have the strength and muscle right now to stand up to Rochester.
It's 3rd and 1. Rochester, by the way, did not kick one field goal the entire season. If you're thinking about that, they're not going to have to here. They got a first down. Waldron around the left side. He's pushed out of bounds at the 5-yard line by Jameel Washington and David Diggs.
Well, Rochester likes to power you inside. Just when you think they're coming inside again, Nate Waldron pops a little around the left corner. First down. Here's Waldron here. You know, the thing is about all Rochester's running backs, two things. They all run so hard, and the second thing is they all block pretty well. Mitch Getman, Krebs, even Waldron, they all block well.
They don't get to carry the ball.
That's right.
All right, it's a 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. Rochester trying to answer a Duquesne touchdown on the opening drive.
Rochester's coaches want a timeout. Their players don't see it.
They split a guy right. They had Tyler Palm in motion. The first time we've seen a formation with anybody split out on this drive. Looks like Todd Jarrett, though, moved for Rochester, and Gene Matz looks not real happy about it.
Gene Matz
we mentioned this is his 3rd year, Mike, but he's been there. You know, his brother Dan was the coach. He coached under him, and you take a look at the movement again. Yep, a little bit of a jump. But he's been there since 1984, and they've just had an excellent run here. You know, to win 4 titles in 5 years, which they're trying to do today, and go on and win the state. They were 13-2 each of the last 2 years, and if they go on and win the state championship in Southern Columbia, they've beaten each of the last 2 years, still alive.
Yes, sir.
They could meet again. That's right. All right, that sets it back to the 10-yard line, so it's 1st and goal at the 10. A little different story now. Waldron skips and picks and gets back to that original line of scrimmage at the 5-yard line. Shane Brooks with a stop for Duquesne. Had some help from Jamie Demery as well.
Right now, Rochester winning the battle up front, guy. And this is what happened last year, if you remember, against Fort Cherry down here in the championship. Fort Cherry, Perry Ivory, they had a big play guy. They were in the game in the first half, and things were looking okay. And then Rochester just warmed down in the second half, pulled out the win.
Well, look at that, Mike. Right now, the rushing yardage almost even, but Duquesne got theirs in 4 plays. Rochester got theirs in 11 so far. And the thing is, too, with guys playing on both sides of the ball, you get worn out defensively, and you got to go out there and try to perform offensively, and that takes its toll as well. 2nd and 5 now, on the 5. Pile up, maybe a 2-yard gain. It's going to be 3rd and about 3 for the Rams.
Josh Krebs on the carry again there. I think now you got a 3rd down situation. I think Mr. Waldron will be getting the football on this next play, guy.
I would imagine that to be the case. The Rams, by the way, we mentioned that they had 2 losses. The only loss of the season for Duquesne came against Brentwood, and Pat Monroe said it was raining sideways that night. Terrible field goal. But anyway, he said that's not taken away from Brentwood because they had to play in the same conditions, and that's why they finished as the runners-up in the Eastern Conference, because they had the same record as Brentwood, but Brentwood beat them. Left side, and Getman gets the ball across the goal line. Touchdown, Rochester. Mitch Getman, nice second effort. Crossed the plane to the goal line with the football. We were wrong. They probably had Duquesne thinking Waldron would get it. Getman gets the score, and if they kick the extra point, we'll be even.
That's why we're up here, right, guy? Watch this here. Mitch Getman takes a handoff, takes a smack from Wendell Brown. Oh! Takes a smack from Wendell Brown, but just stretches the ball out across the goal line for the touchdown. Watch Wendell Brown here.
David Diggs had a shot at him, too. He took 2 hits to get that. The kicking situation for Rochester, Sam DeJoven is the place kicker. Now the holder is Peternell Jitz, the quarterback. Kicking's been snaps a little high. Peternell Jitz does a nice job of getting it down there. The kick is no good. 7-6. Duquesne has a 1-point lead because of the mixed extra point. We got to take a break. The first of 4 title games here at Heinz Field today. We're in the first quarter. 7-6. Duquesne with the early lead over the Rams of Rochester.
You got a buck, you're in luck. Grimace, bump with me.
Got a buck? You're in luck, because on McDonald's Dollar Menu, you can get a delicious beefy big and tasty or McChicken sandwich for just $1. Or you can add on a snack-sized fruit and yogurt parfait, McValue fries, 2 pies, or more, all for just $1 each, every day at McDonald's.
You got a buck, you're in luck. We should take this act on the road. Maybe not.
Do you take pride in what you do? Do others recognize you as a leader? Are you passionate about education and mentoring young people? If so, the Academy has an opportunity for you. A nationally recognized innovator in working with today's youth, the Academy is currently seeking individuals to teach, counsel, and coach the next generation. For more information, call the Academy at 412-885-5200. The Academy, where hard work and dedication still matter.
We are back at Heinz Field where Duquesne leads Rochester 7-6. Now, after Duquesne scored that first touchdown, the head coach pulled the kids aside and he told them, you guys can do this, we can get this back. Coach Gene Matsock told me on the phone this week that he talked to the kids that the team motto is the fire still burns. He doesn't want any of these kids to think that just because they've won in the past, they can win again. When they go to the huddle, they say it's time to work. They worked. They came right back with a long touchdown drive.
Thanks, Trenny. Rochester to kick off. Now, Gene played some quarterback himself in high school and at Teal for a year. Duquesne with a big kickoff return to start the ball game. Not quite as good a field position this time. Out over the 30-yard line is Leighton Dunn. He met by Matt Weiss there. And the first possession they took over on their own 46. Still, your own 30 is not too bad. 14-play scoring drive. That's an NFL scoring drive for Rochester. Methodical. They did it. The first time Duquesne had the ball, they went down the field in 4 plays.
Well, we said at the start of the show, guys, at the start of the game. This is a very simple game. Rochester doesn't control Wendell Brown. They've got all kind of problems, and they didn't do it on the first drive.
Two receivers split out to the left this time, but they're going to run it off the left side. And picking up about 2 yards for Duquesne is Courtney Dunn. Leighton Dunn is his brother who returned the kickoff. Mike, let's check out what Wendell Brown has done so far here.
Wendell Brown, as I said, he can make plays by himself, though. He got past the first line of defense there, and you see him again getting a touchdown run here. He gets past that first line, guys. Enough talent, enough speed, enough footwork to make things happen on his own.
It'll be 2nd down and 5. I didn't think he got that many on the first carry, but good second effort in the pile, and turns out to be another good run. We have yet to see a pass in the game. We told you in the pregame show that that would probably be the case. Pitch comes right side to Brown, has some blockers, gets around that right side, gets to the 40, and is pushed out at about the 41-yard line. Tyler Palm with the tackle for Rochester.
And a penalty marker down. Guy, I think we're going to have a hold here probably on Duquesne. That will come back. You know, the thing I like about Wendell Brown so far, guy, he gets you yards inside and he gets you on the outside.
And you're right, Mike. It is a hold, and that comes back. And we'll watch it again and see if we can pick up. Of course, they don't give the numbers in high school as to who.
Ty Barlow, you'll see here. Ty Barlow on the outside, number 1. I think he's the one they get caught on the hold. Yeah, definitely Ty Barlow. Holding up Tyler Palm,
who still made the tackle anyway. So that'll bring the ball back to the 35-yard line.
Repeat the down.
The 27-yard line. So they're going to need 12 yards to pick up a first down now. And for the first time today, we've seen an offense stutter a little bit. Yeah,
could we see a pass?
Maybe not on 2nd down. Maybe on 3rd and 12 we'll see one. The 2 guys split out to the left this time for Duquesne. Jameel Washington and Corey Gibson. I formation.
No.
Wendell Brown again. Gets to the 30. He will not go down. Eventually gets pushed out of bounds. He gets to the 30-yard line to pick up a 3. Nate Waldron and Nate Tucker, a pair of Nates, making the stop for the Rams.
Boy, you know, he's got pretty good size also, guys, especially for a Class A running back. 6 foot, 195 pounds. That's pretty good size for a Class A halfback. And as I said, colleges are recruiting him mainly just as an athlete. And it'll be interesting to see where he plays in college, but I think it'd be crazy not to give him a chance on the offensive side of the ball first, whether at running back or maybe even receiver.
Good shot at Todd Jarrett right there for the Rams. The nose tackle. 3rd down and 9. Receivers split wide to each side this time. Nope, we're staying on the ground, or we're going to go left side with Brown, 30, 34-yard line, and that's it. And Duquesne Dukes are going to have to punt the football away.
Well, Nick Zarnich made that play happen for Rochester, guy. He got penetration into the backfield against Wendell Brown, forced him to the outside, and Brown was really never able to turn his shoulders upfield. Then he had help by then from the rest of his Rochester teammates, and A defensive stand by the Rams.
Rochester should get the ball in pretty good field position. Leighton Dunn will be punting for Duquesne. Back deep to receive for Rochester are Waldron and Jamar Law. Nice punt. And it's taken on the left side by Danny Fike. And he's got a lot of room. He's still on his feet at the 30. Dances to the 25, the 20. Danny Fike with a tremendous punt return. I said they were going to get the ball in good field position. I didn't think it'd be that good. Mike Robinson, his second special teams tackle of the day, saving a touchdown.
Danny Fike, known more for his defense, 5 interceptions on the year, gets a good block to start the punt return. Straight up the middle.
I see a handkerchief.
And we're going to come back, aren't we? The penalty marker down on
the 45. The blocking was a little too good.
He made some great moves there. Danny Fike looked like he's on a bike.
Yeah, Danny Fike, starting defensive back. He is his team's second leading receiver with 8 catches. That tells you how few times they throw the ball.
He leads them in interceptions also on defense, guy, but we're going to bring it back. Penalty against Rochester. That's key because you give Rochester field position, they're going to power it down your throat again. And
looks like Nate Tucker may have had a block in the back.
Illegal block in the back on the receiving team. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Danny disappointed. The grass on his helmet, they had to pick it off.
He actually, at the end of this play, guy, runs into his own player. That's what slowed him down. Breaks a few tackles here.
Big difference. They could have been in the red zone. Instead, they're on their own 35. We'll see what happens. 14-play drive for a touchdown the first time they had the ball, but they missed the extra point, so they still trail by 1. Waldron meets a lot of resistance on the right side. He loses a yard. Wendell Brown and Jamie Demery. We've called Demery's name quite a bit here in the early going. That's his 3rd tackle.
You know, there's so many names on Duquesne's team that, cousins and uncles that have been there for years. Demery's another one. Mo Demery was a great, very good running back on their 93 championship team. And they have so many great names. And now, end of the first quarter, guy.
Yep, 7-6 after 1. The Dukes clinging to a 1-point lead. We'll be back with the second quarter right after this.
Welcome to Lavalife's Temptation Telephone. Right now, callers are recording their personal profiles and listening to other callers' profiles. Some are even chatting live. Sparks are flying as strangers are becoming friends. Let's meet some of the players. Sarah's in banking. Her passions include golf and golf. She's just met another golf fan and they're talking right now. Need some tips on your swing? Max makes up for his 2 left feet by working wonders in the kitchen. Right now, you could be swapping recipes with him. Renata runs a media company and is looking for someone to keep up with her. She makes friends fast and has been talking to so many people tonight. Mike heads up an IT department, loves animals, and romantic walks to the convenience store. Don't wait. Whatever you're looking for, a date, friendship, or fantasy, it's all happening right now on Lavalife's Temptation Telephone. Thousands of singles in your area are calling every day. It's safe, easy, and confidential. Plus, it's free to call. Temptation is calling. Call Lavalife now.
What a save by Hedberg! How did he do it that time? I'll never know.
Kovalev, does he have enough left to shoot? The puck does.
Saturday, November 23rd, all fans receive an Alt Samuelson bobblehead as the Pens face the Sharks. Call 412-642-PENS or go to Ticketmaster.com today.
Come ball with us.
College basketball on Fox Sports Net. Big East Player of the Year, Brandon Knight, leads Pitt against Duquesne.
Come ball with us.
Tomorrow at 7 on Fox Sports Net. This week on the NFL Show, the guys look back at McNabb's heroic effort and break down what the Eagles must do to stay in the playoff hunt. And you'll never believe what the Niners are saying as Tommy visits the Bay. The NFL Show on Fox Sports Net.
We are back at Heinz Field for the start of the second quarter. Duquesne leads Rochester 7-6. The talk all week was how will the field hold up? Guys, it's holding up okay so far, but in a lot of spots where the grass isn't completely grown in, it's kind of soft and the footing isn't very stable.
Thanks, Trenny. 2nd down and 10, ball on the Rochester 35-yard line as we begin the second quarter, and we got Lubin on the left side. Suddenly, penalties starting to fill the air here in the late stages of the first quarter. Mike, the atmosphere is a little different here today. These games are usually played the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and you get a lot of high school fans. High school's so big in Western Pennsylvania, even not from the areas where the schools are. You don't have that today, though. It's a regular working day, and you have people from both of the schools. Both of these school districts were closed for the day, but it's not quite the same as there's not as many people. And
you don't get the average fan. He'd have to take off work here today. And, Guy, you see the first quarter statistics. If you could figure out those passing statistics or the percentage, a little too complicated for me to figure out.
That's why our statistician, John Duffy, brought his calculator. He said passing yards first quarter, 0-0. All right, on the delay, not much running room for Nate Waldron. Tackled by Leighton Dunn of Duquesne. So a lot of offense on both teams' first possession, but it dried up for Duquesne on their second, and Rochester not looking as sharp on their second possession here either.
Well, Guy, I mentioned when we go back to what you were talking about before about the playing on the championships on Friday. The reason that happened this year was because the Steelers are playing on Sunday, and the Steelers, and rightly so, and Heinz Field officials were a little worried about having 4 games here the day before the Steeler game, so they asked if they could be played on Friday.
All right, we're going to have some guys split out left this time for Rochester. They're going to throw the football, and it's intercepted. Picking it off is Wendell Brown, and when he's got running room, look out to the 21-yard line. First pass of the ball game gets picked, and the first turnover of the game, and turnovers, to me, the most important stat in figuring out who wins a football game. 27 yards on the return, Mike.
Well, the first pass of the game doesn't go too well for Rochester. You almost saw 2 Rochester receivers coming into the same spot there, Guy, and I think that's what brought Wendell Brown over into position to make the interception. What doesn't this kid do, Guy? Does he tape ankles, too, before the game?
We'll see what he does now. 1st and 10 on the Rochester 21-yard line. Duquesne leads by 1, looking for more right now. Shantez Bryant, the quarterback, hands off to Brown, but he's tackled for a yard loss by Matt Weiss, the defensive tackle for the Rams.
Matt Weiss on an excellent defensive play there, getting some penetration into the backfield. You know, Matt Weiss really, Guy, he was moved into the lineup only when one of their best defensive players was injured this year, Rob Savanda. He tore a ACL in his knee in the 7th game of the year, and they had to move Weiss in. He's young, but he's done a good job.
Corey Gibson split wide to the left this time. I formation. They're going to stay on the ground, though, and not have a whole lot of luck with it. Courtney Dunn carrying the ball for Duquesne, and they're going to be faced with a 3rd and about 9 or 10. Maybe even more. Well, no, he's back to the original line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10. So the interception gave them great field position on the Rochester 21, but we've talked mostly about offense here. This Rochester Rams team, they've not allowed one running back this year to crack the 85-yard mark against them, Mike, and they've done a great job defensively.
Yeah, but they haven't faced anybody like Wendell Brown. I mean, they're only giving up 88 yards a game on the ground, Guy, but I think Wendell Brown will get over 100 today, but the question is, will he get over 200?
He splits out in the slot on the left side this time on a 3rd and 10, but they're going to keep it on the ground. Dunn, not much room, gets to about the 17. So we mentioned that Rochester had no field goals all year. Duquesne had 3. Brandon McCall did kick 3, so we'll see if they go for it here or maybe try to get 3 more.
I would doubt it. You're looking at a 36-yard field goal right now, Guy, and I don't think Duquesne's kicker McCall is probably that accurate from that far away. What they tried to do there, they split out Wendell Brown. He had double coverage on him to the left, and they ran the play to the right, but with no success.
They're going to go for it. It's 4th and 8 on the 19. Bryant is going to throw. Fires down the middle of the field, and for a brief second, it appeared that Jamil Washington was open, but the pass falls incomplete. So each team has thrown once. Neither has completed a pass.
I like the call, though, Guy. Good play action pass, and actually, if he could have had another second, waited another second on that slant pattern, he may have had him open. But I like the call. Play action. Everybody in the stadium thinks Wendell Brown's going to get the ball, but he goes with the play action. Good call, Pat Monroe.
And the worst thing is you turn it over on downs, and Rochester's bottled up in their worst starting field position so far on their own 19-yard line. power I formation for the Rams. They give it to Waldron. 20, 25. He's got some speed and some room. 30, 35. Gets to about the 38-yard line before he's knocked out of bounds by Jameel Washington and Wendell Brown.
Nate Waldron, we said he's the only player ever to be brought up to the varsity as a freshman 2 years ago. This time he got to the outside. He's good on the inside, but this time he breaks it to the outside. Guy, last year, he was the leading rusher in this game down here. And yeah, they had Javon Bradley and Jermaine Moy, but Nate Waldron last year had 98 yards rushing, scored on a 39-yard run, was a key to the victory. So he's a little battle-tested also.
Another nice block by Mitchell Getman helping to spring Waldron free. Splitting out left this time for Rochester is Jamar Law. He is their leading receiver. But they're going to pitch instead left side. And Waldron gets to about the 39, a pickup of about 2. Ty Barlow with the tackle for Duquesne.
Jeff Peternell Jits almost held on to that ball a little too long. I think their guy, and the pitch was a little high behind Waldron, but he was able to come up with it and gain a 1 or 2 yards on the play.
Is it just me, or is the sun actually trying to come out a little bit here?
Well, I think it might be just you.
It's brightened up a little bit, hasn't it? There you see some of the Duquesne fans there. I think people tailgating in the parking lot from Mars already. I saw them. They'll be playing in the second game.
3 teams from the north suburbs in the championships. First time ever.
Oh, no room at all for Waldron that time. Met right at the line of scrimmage by Chad Sloan, the 6'1", 280-pound senior nose tackle for Duquesne.
Boy, he got some good penetration here. Watch number 72, Chad Sloan. He's in the backfield right when Nate Waldron gets the handoff. They need some good defensive line play, guy, because, as we said, Rochester is such a physical team on the offensive line.
Well, you got those scripted opening drives. Both teams go down the field and score, and you think, woo, we're going to see an offensive showcase here today, but the defenses have taken over since the opening possession for both teams. So 3rd and 9 on the 39 for Rochester. Waldron gets the call. 40, 45. Out to midfield, he loses the football. Was it blown dead or not?
I don't think it was. Duquesne football.
And it's recovered by Chad Sloan. 2 big plays in a row. So Waldron fighting for that extra yardage. And they're going to discuss this.
There's a flag down. I think we're going to get motion on Rochester.
That'll be declined.
We'll have to wait to see that, but that will be declined.
You know, Duquesne took big advantage last week in their win over Monaca in turnovers, forcing 6 turnovers in that game. Mike, returning 1 for a touchdown in the game.
Against the offense, decline. 1st and 10, Duquesne.
So it is a fumble. Sloan's recovery goes. Last week, Leighton Dunn returned a fumble for a touchdown in that game, and those turnovers killed Monaca. And that ball was kind of in harm's way. He was carrying a little bit far away from his body. Wendell Brown stripped him of it.
Yeah. Hey, guess who made the play?
Sloan, for a brief second, thought he was taking off on a 50-yard dash there. He saw a lot of green, but all right, another turnover. 2 possessions in a row. Rochester loses the ball on a pick and a fumble, and Duquesne takes over in Rochester territory on the 47. Brown left side. Not much there, though. It's a couple at best. Tackle made by Jim Sadler. Jim Sadler, Mike, is a guy, he's played 42 games. He started since his sophomore year, and that's a Rochester team record. I mean, because they, with the state, which when you talk to Gene Matzlick, their coach, he says that's really helped this program. 2 years in a row, you go to state, they're playing 15 games, all that practice through December every year.
You know, Gene Matzlick thinks that if Jim Sadler were about 2 or 3 inches bigger, he'd be a Division I prospect. He's a great linebacker, but just a little on the undersized.
Really smart, too. 3.5 grade average. We're going to throw here. Second pass attempted in the game. No, we're not going to see it. Smartly, Shantez Bryant decided not to throw that up there. Nate Tucker was all over him.
Nobody was open. Nate Tucker, some good pressure, 6'3", 240-pound junior. That's pretty good size for a defensive end linebacker.
Mike Bryant, like Peternell Jits, doesn't throw the ball a lot, but when he does, they got some yardage, man. I mean, he completed 36 passes for 823 yards this year.
That's well over 20 yards of reception. Nate Tucker, old man Tucker with a good play there on defense.
Sets up a 3rd and 15, and when you're a running team, even with Wendell Brown, The odds aren't in your favor of picking this up.
Well, I think right now you play field position here. Your defense did pretty well the last 2 possessions that Rochester had the ball. I think you use a running play here, try with Wendell Brown, then you punt the ball, try and win the game of field position.
Started this possession in Rochester territory. Rochester's pushed them back now on their own side of the 50-yard line.
Reverse.
Oh, here we go, and it's Brown. He's got some blocking. He's across midfield. He's only going to pick up about 4 yards. You know who really blew that play up? Coming across the field, and he didn't exactly make the tackle for Rochester, but Danny Fike is the guy that used the angle and pushed him toward the sideline until he got some help from the rest of the guys.
He did, Guy. On the reverse, you knew something was going to happen there when you saw Wendell Brown coming back on the reverse. But watch what happens here. Look at Nick Manarino. Hits him once. Yep. Cuts back up, hits him again.
Yep. Manarino's the other guy with Sadler that's played 42 games, the 2 of them, school records.
Well, sometimes it takes 2 people to bring Wendell Brown down. Nick Manarino says, well, I'll have to do it twice by myself. There's once, there's twice.
Illegal block in the back on the offense. Penalties decline. 4th down.
You know, Nick Manarino's a 4.0 student guy. How about this? He has a twin brother, number 53 we talked about there for Rochester. He has a twin brother.
Who's in the band.
Who's in the band.
What's he play? Do you know the instrument?
No, I don't.
Well, there's Gene Matzuk there. Back to kick the ball for the Duquesne Dukes. Their second punt of the day is Leighton Dunn. Only 1 man back to receive. Nice high end-over-end kick. It's going to bounce at the 20, roll to the 15, and it'll be touchdown there by Mike Robinson. We got to take a break. We're in the middle of the second quarter. Duquesne clinging to a 1.76 lead over Rochester in the A championship game. Back with...
Do you take pride in what you do? Do others recognize you as a leader? Are you passionate about education and mentoring young people? If so, the Academy has an opportunity for you. A nationally recognized innovator in working with today's youth, the Academy is currently seeking individuals to teach, counsel, and coach the next generation. For more information, call the Academy at 412-885-5200. The Academy, where hard work and dedication still matter.
This patient is getting a new treatment at one of the best clinical cancer centers in America, where tumors are tracked and destroyed without invading the body, and powerful new drugs can wipe out cancer cells wherever they find them. But today, her treatment will be different, because it's for her spirit. The Allegheny Cancer Center, part of the West Penn Allegheny Cancer Institute.
A little more than 6 minutes to play in the first quarter. Duquesne leads Rochester 7-6. Rochester taking over now after the punt on their own 10-yard line. They've had poor field position their last 2 possessions. Both teams scored touchdowns on their opening drives. A 4-play drive for Duquesne. Wendell Brown, a 33-yard run, made it 7-0. Rochester then put together a 14-play drive. Mitch Getman got into the end zone, but they missed the extra point, thus they trailed by 1. Right side, Waldron. He has some space. He has a lot of space. 30, 40, midfield, 40, 30, 25, and down to the, they're going to say he was out of bounds at the 25.
And a late hit, I think, also will tack on about 15 more, Guy. Nate the Skate Waldron.
Josh Krebs with a big block helps spring him early, and when he gets outside and has that much green in front of him, boy, you're not going to catch him.
You know, I think what Nate Waldron has, guys, a nice blend of speed and power. Right here, he sees it goes right up the gut, does get the nice block, and here he shows his little bit of speed, outrunning a couple Duquesne defenders.
Face mask penalty against his defense. 5 yards, first down.
Didn't look like he ever actually grabbed the face mask. He grabbed the top of the helmet.
Yeah, the helmet. Leighton Dunn on the face mask penalty, and already Nate Waldron over 100 yards.
60 on that run alone here, and Rochester in business now. They started on their own 10. They're now on the Duquesne 20.
That's what's so dangerous about them. They hit you with 3 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, 4 yards, and then bang, they get the big one.
Jamar Law splits way out to the left side this time. 3 backs in the backfield still. Getman, left side, a couple of yards, not a whole lot there. Bringing him down for Duquesne is Avery Smith.
Wendell Cox made that play happen, penetration into the backfield. 5 minutes left to go, a little more than 5 minutes and a half, guy. This is a big, big, big possession for Rochester.
Mike, you talk about the differences in the bigger schools. Why is it that the smaller schools struggle to kick so much? City League, A, just numbers, the soccer programs aren't as good. It just doesn't seem like the extra points are as automatic as they are in Quad A.
We'll talk about that in a second.
All right, here we go. Full house backfield. Right side going to be Waldron, and he picks up some good yardage, gets over the 15, down to about the 13. David Diggs knocks him out of bounds there.
I think you touched on it, Guy, right there. The point of the soccer players. There's a lot of teams in AAA and Quad A who use soccer players just to kick on kickoffs and field goals. The smaller teams,
they fly a kid in after this, yeah.
Duquesne doesn't have soccer, and when you only have 20, 25 players, maybe 30 at the most on your team, you spend a lot of time just practicing offense and defense. You don't spend a lot of time on the kicking game.
5-yard pickup sets up a 3rd and 3. The ball is on Duquesne's 13-yard line. Their defense needing to make a big stop here. Oh, left side, it's going to be Krebs, and he gets enough for the first down. He's down to about the 6 or 7-yard line. Ty Barlow made the tackle, but Krebs snuck through there. Nice little dance move to pick up the first down for Rochester.
Josh Krebs, Ty Barlow hanging on, first by the jersey, then by the foot. Krebs crawls for the first down there, guy. As I said, he didn't become the starting fullback until the 5th game of the year. They experimented with a few different people. They finally decided on Josh Krebs, and he's done a nice job for them. I really think he has. He was only 5'7", 155 pounds. Certainly not the biggest kid in the world, but he's come on for them. He came into today with 245 yards rushing on only 40 carries, though, so that's a 6.1 yards average. He's done a nice job.
We have an injury timeout. That's Jamie Demery limping off the field for Duquesne. Doesn't look too bad, though. He's able to walk off on his own power, so we'll see if he can come back into the ball game or not. The item at hand now, though, for the Duquesne defense, 1st and goal at the 8-yard line for Rochester. Duquesne has a 1-point lead, but it's not looking very big at the moment as the Rams putting together their second impressive long drive of this first half. Waldron, nothing doing there. Waldron met back at the 11-yard line by Jamil Washington, and he's thrown for a loss of about 3 yards on the play. Keith Smith helped on the tackle as well.
Nate Waldron on the carry here, and hey, nice play by Jamil Washington, filling the hole, stepping up, somebody doing something from the defensive backfield. Jamil Washington, we mentioned about Yusef Washington earlier, guy, that quarterback of the 84 WPIAL Championship team. That is his uncle. Yusef Washington is Jamil Washington's uncle. And I think there's been about 30 Washingtons over the years playing.
You got Jamar Law splitting out left now. He's a second cousin of Essex Law, the all-time leading rusher for Rochester. So it's football family affair, Western Pennsylvania. That play blows up before it starts, flags all over the field.
I think you're going to see offsides here on Duquesne. Broke the plane little before the snap.
Little too anxious to stop Rochester.
No, we got procedure.
Boy, you hate to see that down this deep, and you've been thrown for a loss on the first play of the series anyway, and now it was 1st and goal at the 8. Now is a 1st and goal at the 16.
Let's see here where the movement is. The left guard for Rochester, number 55, Nick Manarino, moved just a little early.
2nd and goal, Rochester.
Now Rochester might have to throw on one of these downs, guy. I said might.
Well, I don't think it'll be on 2nd, but we'll see. They have a tight formation. They are going to throw. Well, they don't have time. Pressure. Peternell Jitz keeps the ball and gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. They wanted to throw from the formation, but Shane Brooks for Duquesne and Avery Smith sniffed it out perfectly, and Jitz kept his composure and hung on to the football, and that's the most important thing.
Well, maybe we see why they don't throw, guy. First one's intercepted. Second one, no pass protection. Avery Smith, Shane Brooks. Shane Brooks, another one of those players from Wilson Christian Academy. Wilson Christian Academy, by the way, we talked about it. It is in West Mifflin, which is right next to Duquesne.
There's Gene Matsup. Kind of looking up to the sky a little bit here, wondering what's happened to this drive. It's now 3rd and goal on the 16, and what looked like was going to be a sure Rochester score is now turning into a nightmare here. Peternell Jitz wants to throw. Fires it for the end zone. It's going to be intercepted. Leighton Dunn with a nice return, and what a defensive job by the Duquesne Dukes. A 60-yard run by Nate Waldron had Rochester in the red zone, but the Dukes hold strong, and for the third straight possession, Rochester turns it over. 2 picks and a fumble.
Well, Peternal-Jits really threw into
Triple
an area
coverage
where there were 4 Duquesne players. Maybe we've seen why Rochester doesn't throw. That's big, guy. That is very big. Nothing fancy there on defense. You just threw right into a pack of Duquesne players because Rochester's a second-half team, I think. But now Duquesne's going to go into the half probably ahead.
Leighton Dunn brings it out to the 24. Under 3 minutes to play in the first half. Brown, right side, 25, 28, spins to about the 29-yard line. He's tackled by Jamar Law.
Jamar Law on the play there. Here's a key for any team defensively when you play against Duquesne, guy. Your cornerbacks better do the job. They better fight off blocks and step up and make tackles on Wendell Brown. Because if you have weak cornerbacks, small cornerbacks who can't step up and make defensive plays against a run, Wendell Brown will destroy you.
That's putting the pressure on Law and Fike, and they've done a pretty good job so far since that first series for Duquesne. It's Brown again. There was nothing up the middle. He kicks it outside, and he doesn't get a whole heck of a lot. But, you know, last year when he was not the featured back, when Todd Harris was there, Pat Monroe late in the game again, I think it was against Greensburg Central Catholic. They had 1 play left. He didn't have a play in his bag of tricks. They were like on their own 20. He said, let's try a screen to Wendell Brown and just see what he can do. They complete the screen, and Pat Monroe says that he juked and jived around every member of that defense. He was eventually tackled at the 15-yard line, but a couple of guys he said he got around twice. And right there you see it wasn't a whole lot of room to go, but he made something out of nothing. It sets up a 3rd and 2. He comes left side this time, picks his way nicely, and he gets enough for the first down out to about the 37 or 38. In on the tackle, Jim Sadler.
The number 20, Danny Fike, the cornerback, he stepped up on the other side this time, made the play. Duquesne gets the first down, but your corners have to step up and make the play, so you stop Wendell from making a big play. 1:21 left in the half. Neither of these teams throw the ball too well. It's going to take a monumental effort, I think, to get down for a touchdown for Duquesne.
Unless they spring a long one. We have a timeout. Late stages of the first half. Been an even half, but a missed extra point is the difference in the ball game right now. The first time Rochester played for WPIAL title, Mike, 1921. They were in a AA classification then, and they tied Washington 0-0.
Did Stan Savran cover that game?
I think he did.
Okay.
He's the one that told me about it. That's the only reason I knew. But they have 6 WPIAL titles, 3 state titles. Duquesne with a good history, too. Rochester, has been the dominant team in the recent years, but Duquesne has 3 WPIAL titles and the state championship as well.
And one of them, Pat Monroe, was a key figure on. 1977 was a member of Duquesne's WPIAL championship team. Hey, guy, he was a pretty fair player. I mean, the guy went to Penn State, and he played a number of different positions up there, but he kept getting behind the wrong people.
Well, I know he's a good athlete.
Receiver. They had Kenny Jackson. He was maybe running back. They had Kurt Warner. No matter where he went, they had somebody a superstar.
I played fast pitch softball against him, and he's a good player.
Good guy.
All right, the pitch is going to be deep to Dunn. And Layton's got some room up that right side, but it closed in a hurry. It's over the 40 to about the 41. Jamar Law and Jim Sadler. Looked for a second like there was some space there, but the Rochester defense showed a little speed to close it up.
Yeah, Jamar Law is doing a good job on the corner, I think, there, guys. 3 plays in a row in this drive. He's done pretty well coming up and make the play, and the clock keeps running. Duquesne, I think they're content to go in 7-6.
I think they are, too. Under a minute. I mean, they'll try a few running plays here if something springs, great. But Dunn, right side, plows out, picks up a yard or 2. Clock continues to turn. We're down to 40 seconds. Jamar Law again in on the tackle.
And as you notice right now, Wendell Brown is not in the game. I'm just going to maybe give him a little bit of a rest, maybe. I mean, he does so much. I think he has to go in and...
Timeout called by Duquesne. That's their second.
Well, you heard it there, Duquesne taking their second timeout. They want to discuss what they want to do. It's 3rd down and 3. You'd certainly like to get that 3, but you'd want to be very careful with the football, too. You don't want to turn it over and give Rochester a chance for a cheap score late in the half. So both of these teams have been down in playoff games to get here, and they've come from behind, but in the end, none of them were actually that close. You know, Duquesne put up 43 points against Chartiers Houston, 37 against Monessen after falling down 14-0, and 46 against Monaca. And Rochester, 41 against Fraser, 34 against Stowe Rocks, 34 against Carmichael's. And here, both of these teams in a defensive struggle, Mike. They're not used to 7-6 scores at halftime.
No, and I think what's going to be interesting in the second half, guys, neither of these teams have really been in a tight ball game in the second half in the playoffs. They've blown teams out in the second half. So a little bit of gut check time, I think, for both of these teams in the second half.
Well, you saw a guy with some guts there sitting out by his own lonesome self with the umbrella, the clouds brewing over the city, a little bit of moisture in the air. Looks like it's rain right now, could be snow later in the day. It's 3rd and 3. Let's see what they discussed during the timeout. They said, let's pitch it to Wendell, who can throw the football. Left-handed down the field, and it's going to be intercepted. Danny Fike has it for Rochester. To the 40. He's out to the 50. He's still on his feet. 40, 35, Danny Fike. We saw him with the great punt return that was called back because of the flag. Now with a great interception return. Only 19 seconds left, but Rochester got a shot here.
Danny Fike, he leads his team in interceptions, guy. He now has 5. Right there is basically Wendell Brown just threw that ball up for grabs, and which wasn't a bad play. And Danny Fike, he doesn't look like the fastest kid, but for some reason, he's had 2 big, long plays here, and he doesn't go down easily either.
Well, hey, at this stage, an interception down there is as good as a punt at the 24-yard line, but it's the return that kills you. He picked up 40 yards on the return. So with 19 seconds left, 1st and 10 on the Duquesne 35. Their defense has been tested here in the late stages of the second quarter.
He's throwing 2. He's got
Waldron wants to throw. Wide open deep downfield. Touchdown, Rochester, Jamar Law. How about that? It turns around on one play. A Danny Fike interception for 40 and a 35-yard connection. Nate Waldron, he doesn't just run the ball, he throws the ball.
What happened, guys? Wendell Brown bit on the run. He came flying up thinking Nate Waldron was going to run the football, and Javar Law just did a streak down the field. Wide open.
You get a little bit of an idea of the wind, Mike. That was a nice spiral until it got up there high, and then it started to wobble a little bit late.
What is it, guys? You can fight the law, but this time the law won.
That's right. Timeout for Rochester now. They want to talk about it. You see Law catch it. Oh, boy, what a way to go into the locker room, and you have to see what Duquesne's made out of now. That has to be crushing for them. They had the great defensive stand 3 times in a row, forced Rochester into turnovers, but it turns out that their first turnover turns into a late half touchdown, and I imagine they got to go for 2 here, Mike, after missing the first.
Oh, without a doubt. What, as you said, what a turnaround. Looks like you're going to go in 7-6 down at halftime. Duquesne, probably momentum on their side. 2 plays, it all turns around. The thing there, I think you have to watch, guy. If you're Duquesne, you can't let you know something tricky's coming. You have to know a pass or something going deep.
Sure, they're not going to run 35 yards over.
Yep. Feel bad for Wendell Brown. He just bit on the fake. And hey, Nate Waldron can throw the football a little bit too.
Wendell bit on the fake and nobody picked up Law. I mean, he was wide open. You throw or you run here, Mike. What do you want to see? They got 2 guys split to the right. They got Law and Fike out there.
Well, the way the passage going, I think I run the football.
Well, they want to throw it. And it's going to be complete. Good call by Mitch Getman. The 2-point conversion is good, and that makes up for the missed extra point earlier, and Rochester's up by 7, 14-7 with 12 seconds to go in the half.
The key to that play, guys, he got about an extra second or 2 so that Mitch Getman could sneak out of the backfield into the flat. That's what made that play work. And there I am again saying I'd run the football, and they throw a pass or 2-point conversion.
Well, Fike and Law were split out to the right, and they drew all the attention in the coverage, and Getman just kind of snuck his way out of the backfield, and nobody was there.
Well, as you saw there, Pettinel Jits pumped once because I don't think Getman was out into the flat yet. If he'd have got rushed and got hit, he wouldn't have been able to complete that pass, but he had an extra second after the pump, and Getman got out there. Wow, what a turnaround. What a turnaround.
5 drives in the half for Rochester, Mike. They score on their first one. They score on their last one. The 3 in between. They turned the ball over all 3 times. Credit their defense. None of those turnovers cost them any points and allowed them to stay in the ball game until they could take that lead with 12 seconds to play.
And they're the bigger team. I think the more powerful team, probably the stronger team physically. Interesting to see in the second half how Duquesne will hold up to that.
Well, Brown, Corey Gibson, and Leighton Dunn back deep to receive. I would imagine you're going to see a squib here because that's a talented trio. You don't want to give any of them an open field to run with in the final seconds of the half.
And especially the guy in the middle, number 5. Kick it anywhere but to him.
And they do squib it. It's going to be taken by the up man, Jamil Washington. But he got some speed too, and he breaks it outside 40, 45, and gets out to about the 49-yard line. 4 seconds to play in the half. Mitch Getman maybe made a touchdown-saving tackle there. There weren't many blue shirts left.
Well, Duquesne's got 4 seconds here. I think you go in down 14-7.
You don't put another one up deep?
First and 10, Duquesne ball.
Danny Fike might return this one all the way if you
do.
The way he's been picking off passes, making big plays.
Timeout called by Rochester.
All right, Rochester calls a timeout, get their defense in order here.
We've talked about Gene Matzook guy. He took over, you said, for his brother Danny Matzook. This is his 3rd year now. Danny Matzook is always here. I'll bet he's here somewhere today. Danny Matzook is now the assistant superintendent of schools in Penn Hills.
Well, you got to start wearing a suit and tie every day. You can't coach anymore,
Gene Matzook used to coach basketball at Freedom in Rochester. So,
he's a phys ed teacher at Freedom Middle School.
Speaking of basketball, every year this happens to Rochester because they go so far. But this is the worst year. They go far, and their basketball team always gets off to a late start. But this year, it's been worse than ever. Their basketball team, they only have 3 players right now.
Well, sure, you have Nate Tucker's on the basketball team. He's playing football. Jamar Law plays hoops. Mark Iannini plays hoops. Nate Waldron, Tyler Palm, Sam DeJoven, the kicker. I mean, most of this, and in these smaller schools, most of these kids are 2-3 sport athletes.
This is the first time. They've been able to have enough the last few years to still play the games early in the season, the basketball games. They're probably not going to do that this year at Rochester, though.
You know what? You win 3 straight state football championships.
You give that up.
You'll put it up. That's right. All right, we'll see what happens here. They're going to have time for one play. It's on their own 48. Did they just take a knee? Rochester, prevent. They got everybody back deep. Just 4 guys on the line of scrimmage. They are going to throw the ball. They're going to go for the short thing. Oh, there you go. And they're not going to get much with it. Leighton Dunn pushed out of bounds at about the 36 to end the half, knocking him out of bounds. Brent Whiteleather. So there you have it. 14-7. Rochester leading Duquesne. If you joined us late, both teams scored touchdowns on their first drives of the game. Then it was a defensive struggle for a while, some turnovers, some penalties. Late in the half, Danny Fike with an interception for Rochester, returned at 40 yards, and then Nate Waldron on the halfback option throws a touchdown pass to Jamar Law, and that gave Rochester the 14-7 lead, their first lead of the game, because Duquesne got on the board first. Pat Monroe headed to the locker room now, and Rochester trying for the 3rd straight year to win the WPIAL title. And the guy that's won the first 2, Gene Matzook, he's standing by with our Trenny Kuznarek. Trenny?
Hi, guys, and we have to ask him about that play right before the half. The trick play, were you thinking we should just go for it? We have nothing to lose at this point.
We thought it was a good time to call. We've been practicing for the last 3 weeks, so I figured we pulled it out of the bag this time, and it worked for us.
How about your defense keeping you in this game?
Doing a tremendous job right now. We're containing Brown right now, but we still got 24 minutes yet.
What do you say to the kids in the locker room?
We got to be patient. The clock's our ally right now. We got to continue to play well because Brown can break at any time. So.
Well, best of luck in the second half.
Thank you very much.
14-7, they lead it. We'll go to break now. We'll come back with the Rochester Band.
The buzz has been so great on the all-new 2003 Accord that we've had to keep it under wraps. Oops. See more at Beryl Honda in Wexford, Pittsburgh's largest Honda dealer.
Honey, breakfast is ready.
Okay, Puddin'. Just getting the paper. Good morning. Good morning. Hey. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
What's up?
Hey.
Good morning.
You can get the trim delivered to your home every day for 13 weeks, just $9.99.
You got a buck, you're in luck. Grimace. Bump with me.
Got a buck? You're in luck, because on McDonald's Dollar Menu, you can get a delicious beefy big and tasty or a McChicken sandwich for just $1. Or you can add on a snack-sized fruit and yogurt parfait, McValue fries, 2 pies, or more. All for just $1 each, every day at McDonald's.
You got a buck, you're in luck. We should take this act on the road. Maybe not.
Save over $14,000 versus new on Beryl pre-owned Cadillacs. 2002 sedan DeVille's $27,490 with 3.9% financing and a 6-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Backed by Beryl Cadillac, Route 19 in Wexford.
College football Saturday. The Cougars can smell the roses, but they want more. For the Huskies, an upset makes their season. College football Saturday, presented by Kyocera on Fox Sports Net.
Doug Flutie achieved greatness on the gridiron, but his son's autism became his toughest challenge.
This is his calling in life.
Beyond the Glory, Sunday at 8 on Fox Sports Net.
The WPIAL Football Championships on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by Lennox Home Comfort Systems. Lennox makes your home a better place. And by UPMC Health Systems. Choose your health care as if your life depended on it. The first of 4 title games here today, the A Championship. And at halftime, it's a 14-7 Rochester lead over Duquesne. Let's send it back down now to our field reporter and sideline host, Trenny Kuznerek.
Thank you, Guy. Well, in great high school football tradition, we will now listen in at halftime to the Duquesne band. Hi, and welcome back. That was the Duquesne band. I just talked to someone about the field. That's been the talk all week, how it would hold up. They told me that what they're going to do in between each half and in between each game is roll over it with a machine. It will firm up the field. We'll also walk by and push down a few of the divots, but actually right now it's holding up pretty well. So now we will send it over for the second part of our halftime entertainment to the Rochester band.
Drum Major Miss Kimberly Hyde.
That is the Rochester band. Coming up after this break, Guy and Mike will break down the first half with highlights and stats.
I was thinking the worst. I was just being a regular human being. I mean, just sitting there watching him open up the folder to tell me this. One, I didn't know what Hodgkin's disease was. Whatever's in you, this cancer, is eating you. It was one of the scariest moments of my life. My doctors know what they're doing. That will determine whether someone like me lives or dies.
In the recent listing of America's Best Doctors, virtually all the cancer doctors in Western Pennsylvania work at UPMC. No wonder UPMC is the top-rated cancer program in the state.
My son was just born 7 weeks ago tomorrow, and I'm going to be here for a long time to come to be with him. I got to make it through with the Cancer Center's help to make sure this guy gets on a good foot.
The design and performance are unsurpassed. They offer comfort, and best of all, this high-performance line uses up to 50% less fuel. The Lennox line of high-efficiency furnaces. To enjoy the quiet comfort of a reliable, efficient Lennox furnace in your home, call 1-800-9-LENNOX for the dealer nearest you. Lennox, unparalleled savings, comfort, and performance.
You got a buck, you're in luck. Grimace, bump with me.
Got a buck? You're in luck, because on McDonald's Dollar Menu, you can get a delicious beefy big and tasty or a McChicken sandwich for just $1. Or you can add on a snack-sized fruit and yogurt parfait, McValue fries, 2 pies, or more, all for just $1 each, every day at McDonald's.
You got a buck, you're in luck. We should take this act on the road. Maybe not.
All right, welcome back to Heinz Field at halftime of the Class A championship game. It's Rochester 14 and Duquesne 7. I'm Guy Junker along with Mike White. Entertaining first half and interesting. We talked about these teams love to run, and the key plays of the half probably turned out to be passes.
Well, interceptions on passes, and then the one big pass play. I thought it was going to be a high-scoring game, Guy, when we start off. Both teams scoring their first possession, but after that, settles down a little bit until the big plays at the end of the first half.
Let's take a look at how the scoring transpired. Duquesne took the opening kick. Corey Gibson, a nice return, put him in excellent field position at their own 46. 4 plays later, Wendell Brown, 33 yards down the left side. Touchdown, 7-0 Duquesne on the first possession of the day. Rochester gets the ball for the first time. 14 plays. They march down the field methodically. Mitch Getman gets it into the end zone, stretching it across the plane of the goal line, but the extra point was missed. The snap was a little high. Good job to get the hold down, but the kick goes wide right, and they trailed 7-6 most of the half. Late in the half, Wendell Brown, halfback option, tries to throw it. It's intercepted by Rochester's Danny Fike. Now, we're under a minute to play when this happens, and Fike returns it 40 yards to the Duquesne 35. Still, 19 seconds to go. What are they going to do? They're going to go to the halfback option. Nate Waldron finds Jamar Law wide open. Touchdown. That makes it 12-7. They go for 2 to make up for the missed extra point, and it works. He hits Mitch Gedman with the pass. He's wide open. Rochester grabs a 14-7 lead. Time now for our McDonald's first half stats, Mike.
Well, you look there, the time of possession, Rochester's leading there, and got Duquesne with only 4 first downs in the first half. 2 of them came on that first drive of the game. Rochester winning the battle on the ground. We talked about, you want to win championships, you win the game on the ground. 166 yards rushing. And also, a big thing, we talked about Wendell Brown. Let's be serious about this here. He's the key to the game. Rochester controls him, they'll win the game. In the first half, he gained 21 yards on his first carry, gained 33 yards on his fourth carry. His other 10 carries of the first half gained a total of 54 yards. Rochester controls him in the second half, continues to do a good job on him. It's pretty simple. They win the football game. They don't control him, Duquesne has a chance.
Rochester had 5 first half possessions. They score on the first, they score on the last, the 3 in between. They turned it over, 2 interceptions and a fumble. We'll see how it transpires. As Mike said during the first half, Rochester likes to wear you down. We'll see if they're able to do that against Duquesne or not. We'll be back with second half action in the first of 4 championship games coming to you live on Fox Sports Net today from Heinz Field.
Honey, breakfast is ready.
Okay, Puddin'. Just getting the paper. Good morning. Good morning. Hey. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
What's up?
Hey.
Good morning.
You know, you can get the trim delivered to your home every day for 13 weeks, just $9.99.
ACC basketball returns. A dominant form. A superior gang. Tobacco Road comes alive as John Chaney's Temple Owls battle Wake Forest and superstar Josh Howard. ACC Sunday Night Hoops returns December 1st on Fox Sports Net. Basketball evolved to its highest state.
When cancer strikes the brain, it creates the most complex of dilemmas. How do you kill the tumor while preserving the mind? At Allegheny General, neurosurgeon Matthew Quigley does it with skill, technology, and teamwork. To preserve vital tissue, he plots the attack on a 3D image of the patient's own brain, then uses an infrared guidance system to find the tumor without the need for a large incision. For very deep tumors, he and radiation oncologist Russell Fuhrer team up to computer target the mass. They then direct hundreds of energy beams at the cancer with a linear accelerator guided by the radionics X-knife. The beam pattern conforms so precisely to the tumor's shape that surrounding tissue is left intact. The success of team assaults like these is one more reason we believe the best way to defeat cancer is to surround it. Allegheny General Hospital, part of the West Penn Allegheny Health System.
Welcome back to Heinz Field, 14-7 at halftime. Rochester leading Duquesne. The team's coming back out on the field now. Rochester will get the ball to start the second half as they kick off to start the game. Trenny Kuznarek is down on the field now with Pat Monroe. Trenny?
Pat, first of all, what do you say to the kids in the locker room? They played well in the first half, but they went down before the half. How do you keep their confidence up?
Oh, they did play well, and that's exactly what we do. Just tell them that they are playing well, and a couple big plays, change the momentum, but we'll get it back. We're going to be fine.
How happy were you with the way that they played in the first half, staying in for almost the entire game?
Oh, right. They made Rochester earn everything that they got, and then we came out real strong, let down a little bit, but we were pleased with where we were. Obviously, there was a couple of big plays at the end of the first half, but we're right in this game, and we're ready to. We've been there before in a situation like this, so we're okay with it.
You said Wendell Brown is the best running back in the entire state of Pennsylvania. Is he the key to the second half?
Well, certainly, getting Wendell out in the open field, let him do the things that help to get us here is important. So, yeah, I would say that's a big part of it.
Best of luck in the second half. That's it, guys. Back up to you.
Thanks, Trenny, and thanks, Pat. Yeah, he said we've been there before. As I mentioned earlier in the first half, Duquesne trailed Monessen in their second playoff game 14-0 before scoring 37 unanswered points to win that game easily. Mike, let's talk a little bit about how good the Big 7 conference is in Class A, the conference that Rochester won this year. 6 of the last 7 state championships have come from the Big 7, and of the 14 state finals in Class A, the Big 7 has had a representative in 9 of those 14. I mean, you're talking Farrell, and Southside Beaver, Western. I mean, there's a lot of good teams in that conference.
Well, a lot of traditional teams there, guy. You talking about Monac is always good. Farrell's always good. And the thing that conference has a lot of times, guy, that a lot of the other conferences in Class A doesn't have is a lot of teams with speed. Farrell has it usually. Rochester has it a lot of times. So you got some speed teams there, and it's all about tradition. And when I think you get through that conference and you're so tested week in and week out, hey, you're ready for the playoffs. And, it would be a shock to me if whoever wins this game today doesn't make it to the state championship again next year, or not next year, in 2 weeks. I just think Class A and the WPIAL, it's our strongest classification. The winner of this game will play the winner of Bishop Carroll and Clarion Limestone. They play tonight. And you said it, 6 of the last state champions have come from the Big 7 conference. And there's that team, Southern Columbia, over on the eastern side of the state. They are saying, please, Rochester, don't win. They have lost every time in the state championship to a team from the Big 7 Conference.
1998, Rochester beat Southern Columbia 18-0. 2000, Rochester beat Southern Columbia 22-14. 2001, Rochester beat Southern Columbia 16-0. They're probably rooting for Duquesne right now if they're watching this broadcast. Please, we don't want to see Rochester again. Mike, Rochester, the last 3 years, overall in the conference, 16-4 in the postseason. WPIAL, PIAA, 15-0. They have a harder time winning their conference than they do winning the championships once they get out of it.
That just shows you how tough that conference is. I think maybe, this may sound strange, guy, maybe a little overrated actually this year. Farrell went out in the first round of the playoffs against Monessen, and Monaca just got whacked last week by Duquesne. But Rochester's carried the banner of the conference, and they're doing so well. And, guy, I don't know if anybody realizes, if they win here today, they become the first team ever in AA or single A to win 3 championships in a row. Quite a feat for the Rams.
All right, we're getting ready for the second half here. Players stretching out. Rochester will get the ball to start the half. They kicked off to start the ball game.
You know, we talked a lot about Wendell Brown and the game he's had, but hey, how about Nate Waldron?
Yep.
You know, is he a key or what, guy? He was the leading rusher in the championship last year. The first half, Nate Waldron for Rochester, 135 yards on 16 carries. In the last 10 years, guy, the most yards gained in a single A championship game was 158, and that was by Chris Morgan of, how's this for irony, Duquesne in 1993.
You know, we were talking off the air before the game started, and you see these games every week. I watched tapes of them this week to get ready for this game, and I said, you know, it's probably oversimplifying, but it looks to me like Duquesne is a very athletic team. Rochester kind of a smash-mouth, methodical team. So what happens? Duquesne takes 4 plays, scored a 33-yard run. Rochester takes 14 plays to get their first touchdown, and it worked out that way.
You know, I think we said it a little bit ago, it's very simple. Wendell Brown needs to come up with a couple big plays here in the second half. If he does,
Rochester
Duquesne has a chance
to start the second half.
If he doesn't, I think Rochester wins again. And as I said before, let's see how Duquesne can stand up to that physical style of play that Rochester uses.
Well, we invite you to stay with us all day. Mars and Seton LaSalle will play for the AA title game after this, and you got Pine Richland and Hopewell in the AAA championship game. Pat Paris will have that one. Rob King will have AA, and then the granddaddy of them all, the Quad A game tonight, will have Stan Savard in there because he's the oldest and closest to being a granddaddy. So,
well, you know what?
That'll be what.
I think you got some great matchups coming down the next few games. You got some great players. That AAA game, I think, you got 2 of the premier players in the state, Paul Leslie Hopewell, Kevin McCabe, Pine Richland. I think coming into the year, people, you know, Kevin McCabe committed to the University of Virginia. A lot of people thought, how good is this kid? Boy, has he proven how good he is. I think he's the best quarterback in the state this year, and Leslie's one of the best players in the state.
Okay, we have Waldron back deep to receive. He's the deepest of the 3 guys back for Rochester. Jamar Law also back there, and as is Danny Fike. Brandon McCall will kick off for Duquesne. And the second half is underway. They're going to squib it. It's taken at the 30-yard line by Mitch Getman. He gets out over the 40 to about the 42 to 43. So Anthony Estes with the tackle. Excellent field position for Rochester to start the second half. Hey, ACC Sunday Night Hoops returns to Fox Sports Net beginning on December 1st. The Temple Owls take on Wake Forest in a showdown between perennial powers. That's ACC Sunday Night Hoops. Tip-off December 1st right here on Fox Sports Net. Well, we saw Duquesne start almost the identical spot on the first drive of the game, Mike. Their first possession started on their 41. Rochester will start on their 42. Duquesne got a touchdown to start the first half. See if Rochester can answer now.
You know, Rochester, though, guy, in the playoffs, Duquesne, that was a big score for them in the first quarter because that was only a second touchdown in the first quarter. In the playoffs, Rochester has given up. But we talk about Rochester taking control in the second quarter. In the 3 playoff games, Rochester's outscored its opponent 63-0 in the second quarter.
You know what, Mike? They've only allowed 78 points all year. That's the fewest points allowed for any A team all season. So defensively, they really have done the job. Let's see what they can do offensively now. First play of the second half. Handoff left side, Nate Waldron. Nothing doing. He loses a yard because of a nice play by Jameel Washington and Shane Brooks for Duquesne.
Boy, Duquesne is loading up to stop the run, guy. Just loading up. They have 11 guys, all 11 defenders, within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Well, you brag about that Rochester defense. The Duquesne defense had a terrific first half. I mean, the one trick play late killed them, but you know they had a first and goal at the 8-yard line, and Rochester got nothing out of that. Did a good job pushing them back. 3 turnovers they forced. All right, Getman breaks into the secondary, gets out over midfield and down to about the 47-yard line. Mitch Getman, 2 straight carries to start this half. A first down for Rochester. Leighton Dunn for Duquesne might have saved the touchdown.
Well, when you put 11 guys within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, it doesn't take much to get through that first crack, and then you can make some things happen, and that's what Mitch Getman does there. You get that hole at the line, and when you have 11 guys within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, you're just asking for big plays, but I don't blame Duquesne for that. They have to load up against the run and load up and try and stop Waldron and Mitch Getman.
That was a 2nd and 11, and he got the first down. Waldron, right side, not a lot of room, picks up 2 yards, stopped by Keith Smith and Shane Brooks again. Brooks with 2 tackles already here in the opening minutes of the second half. And Brooks actually had some nice numbers last year running the ball, playing for South Allegheny, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he definitely has helped this team. And we talked about the Wilson Christian Academy thing, and Brooks has been a key for them. You know, they have a couple other sophomores on this team that are playing big roles. Duquesne's going to be heard from for a couple years.
Full house backfield. They're going to give it to Getman, and he pulls his way over the 40. Gets down to about the 37, 36. I don't think it's quite enough for the first down. Jamil Washington with the tackle. We'll see where they spot it. I think he's going to be about a yard short.
Well, right now, Rochester's just winning the battle at the line of scrimmage, and that offensive line is doing a great job. Guys like, you know, Todd Jarrett and Matt Weiss. Those two are both sophomores. Nick Manarino, Jimmy Sadler, Skylar Freed. Give credit to that offensive line.
Nate Tucker comes out of the game for Rochester. Jameer Law goes in. Law is going to split out to the right side on a 3rd and 1. Waldron, he's going to get the first down and more. Tackled by the ear hole of his helmet at the 35-yard line. Leighton Dunn and Wendell Brown with the stop, but it's another first down for Rochester. At the Duquesne 35. There's a good shot of Brown there. There's Pat Monroe. 11 years Pat's been the coach at Duquesne, and we told you earlier, played there, was a running back there. His staff's been there. A lot of his staff's been there for a while.
Yes,
guys that he played with.
Smith has, been a defensive coordinator for a long time. You know what? It's not an easy place to coach, and I give him a lot of credit for what he's done there, guy. You know, it's a financially distressed district, and you know, sports is a big deal to them.
First and 10 on the 35-yard line. Waldron right side fights for some tough yardage. He gets 4 or 5. Cy Beatty. No relation to our spotter today, Dave Beatty. He makes the tackle.
He's a lot faster than Dave Beatty.
A lot smarter, too. Better looking as well.
Well, that's a given.
2nd down and 5 at the 30-yard line. And, you know, if Rochester churns this out and goes all the way down and scores, that's going to be really tough for Duquesne down 2 touchdowns with, you know, they had to be down going into the locker room after the half that they played to give that last touchdown up the way they did. Getman carries this time. He gets about 3 yards. It's going to set up a 3rd and 2. Keith Smith and Chad Sloan with the stop for the Dukes.
I'm sure the WPIAL likes the way this Class A game goes, though, Guy, because it keeps the clock moving with all the running. I mean, they put the games this year 2 hours and 45 minutes apart, which means that last game is scheduled to start at 8:45. But, boy, I don't see that getting underway anytime before 9 o'clock, even though these two teams run the ball a lot.
The bands were not allowed on the field at halftime. They played on the sidelines. Field conditions here have been a story for the 2 years the place has been standing. Left side is Krebs, has some room, gets about, we'll see when they mark the forward progress. I think he got the first down, though. He gets to about the 24, and that's where he had to go. Leighton Dunn in with another stop for Duquesne. Leighton, the strong safety, has been coming up very well in run support here, and has had a lot of tackles in this game for Duquesne.
Before you said it, I think this drive might be the key to the game right here, guy. Duquesne, for them to have any chance of winning this football game, they must stand up now and put the stops to this drive, or they've got big, big, big problems.
It is going to be close. They're going to pull out the chains to measure. You talk about coaching, not just at Duquesne, but anywhere these days. I mean, both of these programs, they've had guys there for a long time. Matzel just in his 3rd year with Rochester as the head coach, but he's been there since the 80s. And, you know, that kind of stability really helps. Kids going through the program. And coaching today, let's face it, it's difficult with the parental pressure. And I give credit to anybody in any sport that's willing to put up. Everybody knows more than you do, whether it's parents or fans or the media.
Especially the media.
Yeah, well, we do know more, but that's what
point.
That's what Gene Matzuk said. He said, I'm going to win this 3rd championship and come up in the booth with you guys next year where it's easy.
4th down play.
Yep, inches to go. We'll see what happens here. Oh, I'm not sure he got it.
Depend on the spot, guys.
They have to get to about the 24 and a half. The
From where the
stick's right
spot,
in the
I
middle
think he
there.
has it.
Yeah, I think he does too. Duquesne players are saying he doesn't. I think that's wishful thinking. Where that ball is, that's going to be a first down. Nice stick, though. Courtney Dunn with a stop there. Let's take a look at it again. They're calling an official's timeout. I guess they're going to measure again, but I had that laser surgery, Mike. I can see from here that that's a first down.
Got their Superman out. Just a little handoff up the middle. Good penetration. Getting under the offensive lineman. Hey, you're pretty good. You got about an inch there, guy.
Problem is I can't read anything right in front of my face.
You can't read the numbers on the player's back.
All right, so it's a first down and a big one. Nice effort by Duquesne. Almost stopped them, but Rochester now on the 24-yard line. The first drive of the second half. The Dukes have not had the ball here in the second half, and already Rochester has eaten some time off the clock. We're down to 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. You heard Gene Matzuk tell Trenny Kuznerek, the clock's their ally. Waldron right side. Ooh, looked like there was some space there for a second, but a nice open field tackle by Wendell Brown.
We're only on second down right now, guy, and the clock already is at 6:40. That by the time this drive ends, even if they would give the football up after this series, you're already going to be halfway through the third quarter. It's just power football, two tights, line up, run it right at Duquesne. I really think this drive is the ball game.
And field position so important. I mean, not that if Gene Matzuk had to give this ball up now and they don't score, he wouldn't be happy. He'd like to get in here, but they've already done their job. They've taken time off the clock, and they've driven down the field, and if Duquesne gets the ball, they'll have a long way to go. Dancing around the backfield is Getman. He's going to try to lead some blocking for Krebs, but not a whole lot of room off the left side there, mostly because Wendell Cox stopped the play. Leighton Dunn into the tackle as well. It's going to be 3rd and about 9, so they got the first down grudgingly. Duquesne almost stopped them, and they've held them to just 1 yard on the first 2 plays since it's on the 23.
Time of possession there. Look at that. Rochester just dominating. That's their game. This is their style. This is Rochester football. This is why they have been successful. It's worked for them. We talked about it before. You want to win championships, you run the football.
The amazing thing is, Mike, in such a small school district that they can keep coming up with the running backs with the talent that enables them to do it year in and year out. Getman carries to the 20-yard line. It's going to be 4th down and about 5.5. Because, I mean, you talked about the guys last year, Bradley and Moy and those kind of guys. I mean, they leave and they just, plug in a couple other guys and go at it again.
Mitch Getman on the handoff there, showing some power. He's not just speed. Breaking a tackle by Courtney Dunn of Duquesne. Courtney Dunn is Duquesne's leading tackler. He's had a good game today. This is a key play of the game right here, guy. 4th down.
Do you throw here? 4th and 5. I mean, they haven't been picking up much yardage since they got in close here. Let's see what happens. They are going to split Law out, and they're going to split Waldron in the slot to the right side. Getman moved, I believe.
Definitely moved.
Yep, I don't see a flag, though. They're going to throw it. It's complete to Waldron. That's going to be a first down. I think Getman moved, but there's no flag, and Rochester might have gotten a break there.
I think they definitely did. If we could see that one again. Nate Waldron, they put him in the slot, just did a simple out pattern, but
he's holding his
here's
right
Mitch
hand.
Getman. Watch on the right. He definitely was in motion.
Boy, but he took 2 steps. Pat Monroe's not happy about that. All the Duquesne coaches are screaming at the officials, and they're absolutely right.
All the reason in the world to. That's a key play right there, guy, because that keeps that drive alive, and that'll take at least another couple minutes off the clock probably.
So that was Wendell Brown that was down, and they're looking at him, but he comes off the field. It looks like he's okay. Now, Getman was in motion on the last play. That time he jumped a little on 4th down, but...
well, he could go in motion if you go sideways, but he went
forward. Right. 13 plays on this drive. 14 plays on their first touchdown drive of the day, churning up huge amounts of time off the clock. Now, Getman gets to the 10-yard line and there's a flag, we can have a makeup call here. Is that what we're going to have, or I don't know?
Yeah, but I don't know if there's any making up for that 4th down play.
Yeah, they're going to call a hold and move Rochester back a little bit. We've talked a lot about Waldron, Mike. Let's talk about Getman. Man, he had the first touchdown. He caught the pass on the 2-point conversion, and the kid's had a pretty good game.
Well, I talked about him before, the converted tight end. He's been a key to this team. Scored that first touchdown. It shows some power, guy. I think that's what you get when you play tight end. You like getting hit a little bit, and he's had a good season. Has been a very, very nice compliment to Nate Waldron. Had over 600 yards coming into the game. That's a nice 1-2 punch. And then you throw Krebs into the equation, the fullback, and
that's the thing. You can't just key on Waldron. They have other guys that can run the ball. And Getman last week with 2 touchdowns and 83 tough yards in the semifinal win over Carmichael's. Law split out to the left flank was in the slot, but they're going to run it to the right side, and Waldron gets a couple of yards over the 20 into about the 18. Shane Brooks and Courtney Dunn with the tackles for Duquesne.
Quite a balanced attack just for this team of Rochester. You know, last year we talked about Jermaine Moy, Javon Bradley. They were the 2 stars, but yet you come down here to the championship last year against Fort Cherry, and Nate Waldron is the team's leading rusher in the game. You know, now this year he's having a big game, but now Mitch Getman's getting into it a little bit, and Krebs gives you, it's just such great balance for Rochester, and they've had that actually guy for a number of years.
Tyler Palm is the injured player for Rochester being attended to right now, so we'll take an opportunity while they look at him to take a break here. All right, they've eaten up almost the whole quarter. The third quarter, Rochester has on this drive, and they lead it 14-7.
Hey everyone, this is Rob Pratt, and welcome to my world. Murraysville and the new store, Route 19 South, Cannonsburg. Get the best price and service. It's guaranteed. West Penn Billiards.
Pittsburgh Sports Tonight.
Go ahead, make my day.
It's the nightly newscast you've been waiting for.
This is the real deal.
30 minutes every night dedicated to scores, highlights, and interviews from your hometown teams.
We told you it was going to be good.
Your teams, your town, your show. Pittsburgh Sports Tonight, nightly at 10 on Fox Sports Net.
There's a shot of the Bobby Jean Johnson coming up the river with a load of coal. Appropriate for a couple of old mill towns here.
That's right.
Rochester and Duquesne.
I thought there might have been some Duquesne and Rochester fans making that thing go, pushing it.
All right, well, the injury situation is up. It's 2nd and 17 thanks to that holding penalty for Rochester at the 20 on the delay. Waldron, 15, nice block, 10, pushed out of bounds at the 8-yard line. Good block by Danny Fike, allowed him to get about 5 more.
Nate Waldron on the draw play. Watch here, he's able, cuts it up and then makes the cut to the outside. That's what made the play. Ty Barlow just not quite able to catch up with them.
3rd and 7.
So there's a pickup at 10, Mike. It makes it 3rd and 7, and definitely 4-down territory on the. Now, would you try a field goal from this range? You're down to the 9-yard line if you don't get much on this play.
I don't know how good their kicker is. I mean, if you can gain maybe 2 yards, 3 yards in this, you're only at the 6-yard line. That's not much more than an extra point. I think you have to try the field goal. That puts it into a two-score game.
We're going to give it to Waldron, and he's tackled right at the 10-yard line. Actually, he loses a yard. Chad Sloan, he's had a good game here, the senior nose tackle. He made the stop, and now it's decision time for Rochester. But regardless of what happens here, they have almost evaporated the third quarter. This is the only possession. They took the kickoff to start the second half, and we're down to 3 minutes to play in the quarter.
Well, they're bypassing the field goal definitely here, guy, and they're going to try for the first down. I don't see them picking that up without a pass here, though, and they have not been too successful going to the pass route.
All right. See what happens. At worst, Duquesne will take over on downs deep in their own territory. I formation. The pitch goes to Waldron. He wants to throw it again. Oh, he had a Danny Fike open in the end zone, but he didn't get much zip on it. And Duquesne holds their ground, they get the ball back. Hey.
You know what? If Nate Waldron just would have stopped Guy and put some zip on that ball, Danny Fike was definitely open in the end zone. Nate Waldron sold the play very well, a good fake. If he would have just stopped and put some zip on the ball, I think it would have got there because Danny Fike was open, but he kind of short-armed it a little bit.
18 plays, 48 yards, 9.5 minutes on the drive. There's your Tribune Review game summary right there. Waldron, 156 yards rushing. Gebben with 41. Rochester, twice as many plays, a little more than twice as many plays than Duquesne. This is the Duke's first possession of the second half, and their first play of that first possession of the half doesn't go so well. Wendell Brown tackled by Jamar Law.
Jamar Law has done a very good job today as the cornerback for Rochester. Guy, I've mentioned it before. You want to slow down Wendell Brown. Your corners have to play good run defense, and he's played it excellently here tonight, Jamar Law, and he made the play there again.
Actually, he picked up 4 yards on that play. Didn't look like
But he kept them from breaking a big one.
2nd and 6 at the 14. Duquesne hanging around. They bent a little but didn't break on the first Rochester possession. After the pitch goes to Brown, left side, has a little bit of room, gets out to the 19-yard line. Let's go down to Trenny Kuznarek on the sidelines with an injury update on Wendell Brown, who came out of the game on defense.
Guys, as you notice, he's right back in the game. What happened to Wendell Brown, he took a shot to the back, just got the wind knocked out of him. He is back in the game. In fact, team officials tell me that he just had to get his breath back so he can run 90 yards for a touchdown.
Okay, thanks, Trini. He just needs to get 1 yard here now and get a first down first. We'll see if he can do that. He scored on a 33-yard run on Duquesne's first possession for their one and only score. They're going to split guys out to both sides this time. I formation. They're not going to throw on a 3rd and 1. They're just trying to trick Mike White. It's going to be Brown running it at plenty of room, gets up over the 31-yard line. Way more than they needed for the first down. Mitch Getman on the tackle for the Rams.
Boy, do they need that to get out of that deep in their own territory. Now it gives them a little bit of room, and that becomes a field position game again. Big hole here for Wendell Brown. Nice block by the fullback, and Wendell Brown gets into the secondary and gives them some room to breathe.
Leighton Dunn with a nice block there for the Dukes. And it's out to the 31-yard line. We're under a minute to play in the third quarter. This is the first possession for Duquesne of the quarter. Hand off to Brown. He's going to go left side. He's not going to go anywhere. He was met in the backfield by Matt Weiss, who had that play diagrammed perfectly. It was like he was in their huddle and knew where it was going to go.
Matt Weiss, we talked about him before. He's the guy who came in, only a sophomore, 6 foot, 210 pounds, a defensive lineman. He's the guy who came in with Rob Savanda, their fine lineman, tore an ACL late in the season. Matt Weiss has made a couple big plays here today, including this one on Wendell Brown.
Ball just shy of the 30-yard line.
2nd and 11. Loss of 1 on that play. Pitch to Brown. Looking right side. Oh, sidesteps 1 tackle, gets 5 yards, gets more. Still on his feet. He's still on his feet. He's across midfield to the 40. Cuts it back out to the middle. He's brought down at the 27-yard line. What a run. That play didn't look like it was going to gain anything. Then it looked like it was going to be a short gain, and he winds up busting it for big yardage deep into Rochester territory.
How many tackles did he break on that guy? Probably 5 or 6. Let's watch here. Simple pitch play. Look, he's bottled up, it seems like, right here. There's 1 tackle. There's 2. Great balance. 3. Good block. 4. Finally.
Danny Fike stops him after 40 yards. But, oh, what a run by Brown. And, hey, just when it looked like Duquesne was ready to cash it in, the defense holds, and they're knocking on the door, and the quarter comes to an end. Hey, we got a good ball game going here. 1 quarter to go, 14-7 Rochester, but Duquesne threatening. We'll be back with the fourth quarter right after this.
Honey, breakfast is ready.
Okay, Puddin'. Just getting the paper. Good morning. Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
What's up?
Hey.
Good morning.
You know, you can get the trim delivered to your home every day for 13 weeks, just $9.99.
You got a buck, you're in luck. Grimace. Bump with me.
Got a buck? You're in luck, because on McDonald's Dollar Menu, you can get a delicious beefy big and tasty or a McChicken sandwich for just $1. Or you can add on a snack-sized fruit and yogurt parfait, McValue fries, 2 pies, or more, all for just $1 each, every day at McDonald's.
You got a buck? You're in luck. We should take this act on the road. Maybe not.
Do you take pride in what you do? Do others recognize you as a leader? Are you passionate about education and mentoring young people? If so, the Academy has an opportunity for you. A nationally recognized innovator in working with today's youth, the Academy is currently seeking individuals to teach, counsel, and coach the next generation. For more information, call the Academy at 412-885-5200. The Academy, where hard work and dedication still matter.
This week on the NFL Show, the guys look back at McNabb's heroic effort and break down what the Eagles must do to stay in the playoff hunt. And you'll never believe what the Niners are saying as Tommy visits the Bay. The NFL Show on Fox Sports Net.
Come ball with us.
College basketball on Fox Sports Net. Big East Player of the Year, Brandon Knight, leads Pitt against Duquesne.
Come ball with us.
Tomorrow at 7 on Fox Sports Net.
The WPIAL Football Championships on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by the UPMC Health System. Choose your health care as if your life depended on it. Fourth quarter ready to start now. 1st and 10 for Duquesne on the Rochester 30-yard line. The Dukes trailing by a touchdown, but threatening here. They scored on the first drive of the game. Rochester has shut them out since. 2-yard pickup off the right side by Leighton Dunn. Todd Jarrett with the tackle for Rochester.
Inside handoff to Leighton Dunn. Now Wendell Brown. Rochester had kept them bottled up since that first drive, guy. He had the 33-yarder and a 21-yarder on that first drive. He really hadn't done much since then until that last play there of the third quarter, and he's got them in some scoring position here now. You know, we talked about that first drive for Rochester being a key to the game. This one could be it for Duquesne.
2nd and 9 on the 29. Shantez Bryant taking his time. He wants to throw. Going to flip one out for Dunn. Dunn grabs it, but he's going to lose yardage on the play. Matt Weiss all over that one.
Matt Weiss on another big play. That's sophomore. He's coming up pretty darn big today. Growing up a little bit. Right here, Matt Weiss, they get some pressure on, and Matt Weiss makes the nice play out there on Leighton Dunn. Really.
And good also by Todd Jarrett, Mike. He put the initial pressure on the quarterback and then still got over and made the tackle after the pass.
They're looking for a little pump pass over the middle at first, guy. If that wasn't open, they'll hit the running back in the flat. Rochester stopped the little tight end down the seam, so they had to go to the outlet in the flat.
That one lost 4. It's going to be 3rd and 13. Brown. Oh, nice tackle. Beautiful play by Matt Weiss. Got a handout, tripped him up at the ankle, and it's going to be 4th and long for Duquesne.
Matt Weiss, another big play. For a sophomore who really wasn't a key part of this team for most of the year, he's done a great job here today. Now, Wendell Brown gets you down here, but the first 2 plays down here, guy, they go to some other players. A little surprising.
There are your stats through the third quarter. Surprising for 2 teams, Mike, who do not throw the ball much or well. Look at those third down conversions for both. 6 out of 12, 3 out of 8. Not bad. 4th and 12 now. And Bryant does want to throw. Makes some time for himself. He's going deep for the end zone. Oh, it's down! Touchdown Duquesne on a 4th down and long conversion. And it was Corey Gibson who got open in the end zone.
He got behind 2 Rochester defenders. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think Shantez Bryant had that in him to throw the ball that way. And on the run, he throws it back almost to the middle of the field, showing some great arm strength. And on top of the arm strength, he puts the ball right on the money. Now watch Shantez Bryant here. Matt Weiss almost comes up with another big play, moving to his right, throwing across his body. Guy, he put that ball right smack on the numbers. I'm a little shocked. I didn't think Shantez Bryant had that in him.
Beautiful pass. He had Weiss coming from behind. He had Getman coming from the front. He bought himself some time by rolling out and completes the pass to Gibson.
They're going for 2, guy. They're going for the lead.
They're not going to leave anything on the field here. They're down by 1. He's going to throw again. Has some time.
Nope.
Tosses it for the corner. Too far. Knocked out of bounds. And Rochester leads by 1. Mitch Getman. Nice defense.
Pass intended for Courtney Dunn. Tried to get him out into the flat, but Mitch Getman, great coverage on the play.
9:40 to go in the football game.
I don't know, Guy.
I don't understand that.
Well, I think maybe he thinks maybe he doesn't know how many chances he's going to give because Rochester gets the ball.
All right, we got to take a break. We got a good one. 9:40 to go. Rochester leads Duquesne by 1.
You got a buck, you're in luck. Grimace, bump with me.
Got a buck? You're in luck, because on McDonald's Dollar Menu, you can get a delicious beefy big and tasty or a McChicken sandwich for just $1. Or you can add on a snack-sized fruit and yogurt parfait, McValue fries, 2 pies, or more. All for just $1 each, every day at McDonald's.
You got a buck, you're in luck. We should take this act on the road. Maybe not.
This patient is getting a new treatment at one of the best clinical cancer centers in America, where tumors are tracked and destroyed without invading the body, and powerful new drugs can wipe out cancer cells wherever they find them. But today, her treatment will be different, because it's for her spirit. The Allegheny Cancer Center, part of the West Penn Allegheny Cancer Institute.
Well, Rochester's first drive of this half, they didn't score, but they ate up 9 minutes and 26 seconds, Mike. Perhaps Pat Monroe's looking at that clock, sees 9:40 to go, and thinks, we may never get the ball back again if they have another. They don't have to score, so maybe that's why they went for 2, but I'm a little surprised with that much time left that they didn't just kick for the tie. On the squib, picking up for Rochester, and a little bit of running room, Nate Waldron, but it closed in a hurry. He gets over the 40 to the 41, but good field position. David Diggs makes the tackle for Duquesne. He's had a good day on special teams. Hey, want to tell you that every night it's Pittsburgh Sports Tonight. 30 minutes of nightly sports news completely dedicated to the home teams throughout Pittsburgh and the surrounding areas. For extended regional highlights and in-depth interviews, catch Pittsburgh Sports Tonight every night at 10, only on Fox Sports Net. There's what we have coming up tonight. Complete WPIAL coverage. Perry going to stay unscored upon. We'll have it all for you after that Quad A game tonight. Rochester with a 1-point lead. They want to eat some clock off now. They don't need to score again. Mitch Getman, 5 yards off the left side to the 45-yard line. Diggs again on the stop, along with Courtney Dunn.
Boy, going back to the 2-point conversion, Guy, that's going to be questioned, I think, a lot. If this game ends this way, why go for 2 then? Like you said, maybe he's worried about them running out the clock, and you don't know how good of a kicking game they have. I don't think they have a great kicking game. On the other hand, your team just had momentum. You just got a long touchdown pass. They're pumped. Now you don't make that. Takes the momentum right back away from them.
Brandon McCall did kick 24 extra points and 3 field goals on the season, but interesting. 2nd and 5. Waldron right side gets to about the 48. Going to be 3rd and 2. Shane Brooks with a tackle for the Dukes.
You know, you tie the game. There is overtime in the championship games. There are no ties.
We had a Monaca-Rochester Class A overtime game a few years ago that we did here on Fox.
In the late 80s is when they first instituted the overtime. Now you have to have overtime because they're state championships, but it has played a key down here in some of these championship games. In 1986, North Hill scored with 3 seconds left, number 1 in the country, down 7-6. They went for 2. They don't make it. With overtime, they'd have probably kicked it.
3rd and 2, Getman gets the 2 and more. He's still on his feet, gets across the 45 to the 44-yard line. 1st down, Rochester. What a job this Rochester offensive line has done today in churning out yardage, maintaining the ball, keeping the clock rolling.
Yeah, let's give those horses up front some credit. They're the ones doing all the plowing and getting Nate Waldron and Mitch Getman some holes, and offensive lineman has done a great job for Rochester, even the last few years.
The lunch pail guys. Nick Manarino and company.
Some smart guys. Manarino, a 4.0 grade point average.
Yeah.
Skylar Freed, 4.2.
Princeton's interested in him with some other Ivy League schools. I'd like to have that future. You hated guys like that in high school, didn't you? It was okay if the guy was athletic. It was okay if he was smart. But the guys that were both, they got on my nerves.
I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, okay. I'm kidding, Skyler. 2nd and 8. Ball on the 43-yard line now. And the thing you got to watch is that little clock turning up in the corner there. 7:23 and rolling. The way Rochester runs the ball.
Yeah.
They had one possession of the third quarter. It was almost the entire quarter, and they didn't score.
You know, you would think they're at the 43-yard line. They can't chew up that much of the clock, right? Well, the way they run, 2, 3, 4 yards at a clip, they could chew up 5 minutes easily.
3 yards in a cloud of mud. Left side Getman, oh boy, he runs into a wall of people there. Hangs onto the football, bangs around like a pinball. And there's a lot of guys in on the tackle. Wendell Cox and Keith Smith and Chad Sloan leading the way, though, for Duquesne.
3 yards in a cloud of mud, but down here it's 3 yards in a cloud of sand.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Although, you know what?
It held up pretty well.
Yeah, we saw the slip on the opening kickoff, and we really haven't seen a lot of guys slipping. And be interesting to talk to the trainers and see if they want any different kind of cleats or anything today than they've used because of the surface.
Yeah, I really thought that opening kickoff when we...
Yeah, I was like, here we
Gibson
go. We got
fell
4 games
twice.
to play.
I thought, oh my goodness, this is going to be terrible the whole day.
3rd and 8. Key play here now. Duquesne would love to get the ball back with some time to work so that they don't have to throw. In motion is Krebs. Pitslow's going to come to Getman. He's to the 40. Picks his way back into the middle of the field. Not going to be enough for a first. Oh, wait a minute. I spoke too soon. Oh, man, you got to love the way this kid runs. Great second effort in Hart there. I thought he was stopped. It looks like he might be a little short still, but it didn't look like, it looked like he was going to be 5 yards short.
What an effort by Mitch Getman. Watch him here. Including you, me, everybody thought he was down right here. Look, he's got 4 guys on him. Not quite yet. He'll get about 3 more yards.
It's going to be less than a yard on 4th down because they're putting the ball right on the 35. I don't know why they're even measuring because they got to get to the 34 and a half. They're going to be about a football length short.
Well, you know, I said it earlier.
It's a laser search.
They always do have good running backs, but the thing that I like about how hard they run. I mean, last year, Jermaine Moy was an excellent running back, had a lot of speed, but he ran so hard, and that's what makes these running backs of Rochester so good.
There it is. You got to go for it. 4th and about 19 inches. 14-13, Rochester with a 1-point lead. Duquesne scored first, went up 7-0. When the Rams scored, they missed the extra point, trailed by 1. When the Rams got their second touchdown, they went for 2 and made it to go up 7. When Duquesne scored here in the 4th quarter, they got within 1 but elected to go for 2, and the pass was batted away, so they trailed by 1, and there's less than 6 minutes to go.
Well, this would be a gigantic stop here if Duquesne can come up with a big defensive play.
Here we go. 4th and inches on the 35-yard line. Tight formation, full out backfield. They're going to give it to Waldron. He's got the first down, and more. He breaks free. He's inside the 20 and down to the 19-yard line. Rochester continues to rumble on the ground. By the time Jamil Washington tackled him, it was way too late, and the clock continues to turn, and we're at 5:38 to go.
Nate, the skate. You get past that first line of defense. You got some good blocking, but he has enough talent and power to break a tackle. When you put 10 guys within a couple yards of the line of scrimmage, that's the danger. If he can break a tackle at the line of scrimmage, he can break a little bit of a big play.
All right, that's disheartening for Duquesne now. They still have to stop him on a 20-yard line. It's going to be Waldron off right tackle, and he gets a couple of yards, stopped by Shane Brooks. Let's send it down to the sidelines now, and Trenny Kuzniak. Trenny?
Well, Guy, you've mentioned his name a couple of times. Skylar Freed. He is a senior offensive and defensive tackle, but get this, he only has 3 years football experience. His freshman year in high school, he played hockey. The coaches convinced him to come over to football. He is now a starting offensive and defensive tackle. The coach says he's one of his best. Obviously, the switch is paying off.
Thanks, Trenny. Yeah, he says he has great feet. It's from the hockey, it's from the skating. He's got good footwork, and you don't realize how important footwork is for linemen.
Well, that's there first. They got Nate the skate, so they got the hockey player blocking for him.
Skylar the skater blocking for Nate the skate. Duquesne's called a timeout here. So there's under 5 minutes to play, and the Rams claimed that 1-point lead. They've won 2 WPIAL titles in a row, 3 of the last 4, trying to make it 4 out of 5. There's Pat Monroe. You wonder if he's wondering a little bit Capano's decision to go for the 2. Most football coaches don't second-guess themselves. You got to make the decision you think is best at the time and stick with it. When it's all about you, or how's that go? If you can keep your head when all about you are losing, that's what you got to do as a football coach.
You know, that's a tough call. It really is, Guy. Like you said, maybe he thought, like, what's happening here? Rochester's going to chew up so much of the clock. Why not go for the win then? But if you kick it, you got a tie game, go for overtime.
All right, let's take a commercial break while Duquesne has this timeout. We'll be back with the closing, exciting moments of this A championship game right after this.
The buzz has been so great on the all-new 2003 Accord that we've had to keep it under wraps. Oops. See more at Barrel Honda in Wexford, Pittsburgh's largest Honda dealer.
Honey, breakfast is ready.
Okay, Puddin'. Just getting the paper. Good morning. Good morning. Hey. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning. What's up?
Hey.
Good morning.
You know, you can get the trim delivered to your home every day for 13 weeks, just $9.99.
Save over $14,000 versus new on Barrel Pre-Owned Cadillacs. 2002 Sedan DeVille's $27,490 with 3.9% financing and a 6-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Backed by Barrel Cadillac, Route 19 in Wexford.
This Rochester drive is 8 plays, 42 yards, and perhaps most importantly has eaten up just under 5 minutes. Mark Cohen keeping stats for us up here today, and they've churned off big chunks of time. They don't need any more points. They can win at 14-13. They'd like Duquesne not to ever get the football back if they could do it their way. It's Getman, lots of running room, and then when he is collared, he still picks up 3 or 4 more yards. He's inside the 10, another first down before he's brought down by Courtney Dunn.
Mitch Getman with the big play, just a simple handoff up the middle. Offensive linemen sealing their blocks. Mitch Getman, you know, he's one of the seniors on this team, Guy. What a run these seniors have had on this team. Last time they lost in a championship game was 1998. They lost in the Beaver County Midget League Championship, the center, 6-0 in overtime. Since then, they were freshmen, they were undefeated, and then they've won the last 2 WPIAL championships.
Getman left side, waits patiently, tries to wait for a hole to open up. None ever really does. He maybe gets a yard. I mean, these kids have played at Three River Stadium and Heinz Field. I mean, how many will ever be able to say that?
And, you know, I mentioned Peternell Jitz and Fike and Getman. As I said, they played on that baseball championship team that played at Three River Stadium when they were freshmen. They were on the varsity, and these guys don't know what it's like really in the last 4 years to lose at the end of the year. I said their freshman team was undefeated when they were in 9th grade. Then they win both the WPIAL and state last year. Do it when they were sophomores, and they're knocking on the door to become the first team in single A to win 3 in a row.
10-2 in the regular, 10-2 overall, the 2 losses coming in the regular season. 15 straight playoff wins for Rochester, and they're trying to seal this one up. They're inside the 5-yard line. Clock continues to turn down to 3.5 minutes. Jamil Washington and Shane Brooks for Duquesne desperately trying to stop this Rochester drive and at least give their offense a final chance to move the ball down the field. But the Rams have intentions of getting in that end zone with the Steeler logo painted in it and ice this ball game.
Well, do you try and run through the middle again in case you don't make it? At least you give your kicker straight on kick right down the center.
3rd and 4. Touchdown, Nate Waldron. 3rd and 4, he converts, and Rochester takes a commanding lead here. Well, they need the extra point, I guess, to have it a commanding lead. Now what do? Do you go for 2 to make it a 2-score game, or do you just kick it? You got a decision to make here, too.
Nate Waldron has had the big game today. Wendell Brown's gotten so much of the publicity, but Nate Waldron's the one that's going, so far, has the more yards in this game. And I think it looks like right now that Rochester's going to go for 2. They're going to call timeout to think about it, guys.
Yeah, because the touchdown puts you up 7. If you kick and go up 8, it's still a 1-score game.
Timeout.
So they're going to try to figure out what they want to do. If you convert on the 2 here, you pretty much win the game.
Yeah, I think it's over if you get up by 9 points against a team that really doesn't have a passing attack. But when Wendell Brown's in the game, though, guy, he can break a big play anytime. You get a touchdown, then all they need to do is kick one to tie it up.
Mike, that was a 12-play drive, 60 yards, took almost 7 minutes off the clock. I can't remember seeing a high school game where they've had long, sustained drives like this. I mean, usually someone will break one and you don't get a chance to eat 8, 10, 12 minutes off the clock. This is an NFL-type drive.
Well, those horses up front, they just, the Clydesdales start moving the line, and they just buckle up and play power football, and that's what they've done the last few years. Even when Danny Matzook was here, they didn't throw the ball at all either, and it's been successful. Who can argue with it? They're going to kick, guys.
They're going to kick. Sam DeJoven tried one after their first touchdown and pushed it to the right, but the snap was not good. Good job by Peternell Jits to get that ball down on the first extra point try. We'll see what happens here.
Oh, another bad snap.
And it's recovered by Duquesne. So the lead is 7. The Dukes still breathe some life with 2 minutes and 45 seconds left. I want to remind you that this copyright telecast is presented by Fox Sports Net under the authority of the WPIAL and may not be reproduced, rebroadcast, re-recorded, or retransmitted in any form without the expressed written consent of the WPIAL. All right, Mike, you can't ask for more.
Yeah, it's ended up being a very good game. Actually, last year's game was pretty good, and 2 years ago they only beat Monaca 13-6, Rochester, but hey, Wendell Brown got a lot of the publicity coming in today about the offense he has produced, and rightly so. But Nate Waldron, he has been the star today, guy. 30 carries, 182 yards. That is the 3rd highest total rushing in any championship game, single A, double A, triple A, or quad A, in the last 10 years.
Well, you know, the experience, 27 to 19 last year, 13 to 6 the year before, you can't replace that. You're playing big, close games, and it's nothing new to be, you know, pressured late. Time of possession you saw there, almost double for Rochester. And Mike, you called it early in the game. What would that have down? What effect would that have down the stretch on wearing down Duquesne? I think we just saw that in that last drive. Duquesne just one more out on defense. They spent almost this entire second half on the field defensively, and with the guys playing both sides of the ball, that makes it tough. Somehow you always have your energy on offense. On defense, you get tired.
Why they kicked it to Wendell Brown, I don't know.
No, but it's going to work out pretty well for him. Maybe it's not.
He's not down yet.
Yeah, and it's not. Late flag. Might be a hold on Duquesne back there. Brad Martin finally made the tackle for Duquesne.
I think he was trying for a short kick, but Wendell Brown came flying up right before the ball was kicked and was right there to make the play. And boy, that's chancy. You want to do anything but let that guy have the ball in his hands. And you know, right now,
back on the return team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First 10.
Martin had a chance for him early, missed him, and then he came back to make the tackle anyway. Good hustle by him, but the block in the back going to put it all the way back at the 16-yard line. So they got a long way to go. Field goal would win the game, or a touchdown would tie the game. 2 minutes and 32 seconds remaining. They don't have the kind of offense you would think to strike quickly, but then maybe they do. We saw that pass that made it 14-13 on 4th down, and they might have to go to the air, Mike.
Well, they're splitting Wendell Brown out as a receiver. Now, anytime he's in the game, you have a chance. Here's a reverse again.
Brown wants to throw again. From the reverse. Wide open deep, but he can't find Jamil Washington. Washington got out there alone, but Wendell didn't quite have the arm to get him the ball.
He had him, guy. Danny Fike bit on the fake. It wouldn't have mattered anyway because I think it's coming back with a penalty, but nice call there by Pat Monroe and Duquesne. And I said, when you have Wendell Brown, no, you don't throw the ball very well, but when you have him on your team, you're never out of the game.
It's going to be a procedure call against Duquesne, so would have been for naught anyway. But that's going to put him even deeper in the hole.
Illegal formation on the offense. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Penalties decline. Second down.
That's one of the things. You kind of have a fairly, methodical running game all day, and when you do try something a little tricky like that, guys get mixed up as to their assignments, and that's what happened there. So now it's second down with the ball back on the 16-yard line. They fake it this time. Dunn keeps it, and he's got a lot of room, and he gets a first down out over the 30-yard line. Leighton Dunn, they set up the same way they did the time before, faked the reverse. Dunn kept it. They pick up the first down. Clock stops to move the chains. 2:17 to go. Let's take a look at it again.
It's the third time they've run this play out of this formation, guy. The first time in the first half, Wendell Brown took it on the reverse. The second time, he threw the ball. That time, they faked the handoff.
Oh, fast drop by Jamil Washington. Incomplete. Rochester covering all the bases and picking the ball up, thinking it could have been a lateral, but he was definitely forward of the quarterback.
Well, Rochester's in a cover 2 defense right now. And if you're Duquesne, it might leave Wendell Brown a little bit more running room if you give him the football. No, you don't have a lot of time, but when you don't have a passing attack, you try and get the football in his hands some way, and he's going to be double covered anytime he goes out for a pass.
Corey Gibson caught a touchdown pass in this game. He is split way out to the left now. Throw set formation. Bryant wants to throw. He's looking for Gibson. He has it deep. Oh, Corey Gibson can't hold on to the ball.
Oh, my goodness. We were looking at a decision of whether to go for 1 or 2 again, guy, because if he hangs on to that, he is gone. Wendell Brown split to the right. He's getting double coverage. We come back the other way to the left. Gibson, what's your sign? He's got it. I got it. I tip. I got it. Let me grab it. I can't grab it.
3rd and 10. He's going to be seeing that in his dreams for weeks.
At the 31.
Good job, camera guys, too. Excellent work, seeing it from all angles. He got the 1 touchdown catch, but now they're facing a 3rd and 10 on the 31, under 2 minutes to go. Bryant, straight drop back to throw, going to go to the screen. Smart play. They pick up the first down before they got to go for the touchdown, but Brown's not going to get enough for the first down either. He gets to the 38. He needed to get to the 41. It's going to be 4th and about 3. Jim Sadler, the linebacker, with the tackle.
Well, they set up that play nicely, actually. The middle screen to Wendell Brown. Good call. I like all the calls that Pat Monroe's gone here in this last drive. Wendell Brown snuck across the middle. They got him the ball. Just a little ankle tackle. Here's the game right here, guy.
Yep, fans on both sides on their feet. It's 4th and 4. Duquesne needs to convert to keep their hopes alive. They trail 20-13. Bryant's going to throw, rolls right, has time, he's getting protection, now he's getting pressured, and he's going to be sacked. Nate Tucker gets the job done defensively for Rochester, and with 1 minute left in the game, it looks like the Rams are going to win their 3rd straight WPIAL title.
Open the record books, get out the pen, put Rochester in as the first team to win 3 championships in a row. Nate Tucker, he's had a couple big plays today. Shantez Bryant, you got to get rid of that ball somewhere. Throw it up to Wendell Brown, let him make a play, but Nate Tucker got the pressure right in his face.
Yeah, you got to, the game's over if you get sacked. You got to throw it someplace. But give Nate Tucker credit for the sack and give Rochester the credit for hanging on here.
Well, guys, it's really a typical Rochester win.
Yep.
It really is.
Yep.
Power football, run the football, and
Control
an
the
excellent
clock.
defense. There were only really 3 plays that Wendell Brown got loose today. 2 of them were on the first drive of the game, and he had another long run here in the second half. Besides that, they've done a great job bottling him up.
Duquesne's only loss to Brentwood 29-27 in a driving rainstorm. It looks like they're going to lose for the second time this year.
Well, 18 years ago, it was a blowout between these two teams in the WPIAL Championship. This one was a lot closer. Good game, guy. When you see the Class A final, you're never really going to see a lot of passing, I don't think. So you have to expect a lot of running. And it's been a good, competitive, well-played game.
Well, I'm sure Pat had his reasons for going for the 2. But I thought you had a good point there that right when you get excited, you get the touchdown. When they missed the 2, you kind of saw the air go out of them, and then Rochester just goes right down the field and scores. I don't know that happens if you tie the game up there.
I agree.
think it's a whole different mindset, you know?
You get that zapped right back out of you, any momentum that you have.
Duquesne has 2 timeouts left. Waldron's going to carry. They just running out the clock now. They'll take the timeouts, but Rams are in pretty good shape here.
Pat Monroe, great season. Only lost to Brentwood, a game in which they made 5 turnovers. He's done a great job there over the years, guy, and won a championship in '93. Won a state championship that year with Kevin Price and his friends Maurice Demery, and where they came close this year. And what a wonderful year for Wendell Brown.
Matt Zook, his opponent on the other sideline today, out talking with his quarterback and his team. Duquesne taking their second timeout. They have 1 left. Waldron got 1 yard on that carry. It'll be 2nd and 9. Some of the fans here from Rochester celebrating. Oh, it's not over yet. Gotta wait. That lady got to sing, right? I want to jinx it.
They can stop the clock one more time, guy, and it'll put it down to about 53, maybe 50 seconds. And
you saw Wendell Brown with the towel on his head there. You know, he was interviewed in the summer as we have a Mitch Getman run down to about the 24. He was hit hard. But Brown was interviewed in the summer. He said, we have a pretty good team. I think we're going to make it to Heinz Field in August.
Did he say that?
Yeah, he did. And he's right.
Well,
there's Dan Roberts. He's the defensive coordinator. He's been with Matt Zook for a long time. Well, that's what I talked about. When you have those coaches that stay for a long time, they instill their programs, kids learn under them, and it's year after year. You change the players, but you got some stability in the coaching staff. And at this level, that helps a lot. That's one of the reasons Rochester has one of the best programs around.
Well, some of his assistant coaches, he's coached Gene Matzook.
Yeah, that's right.
His nephew, Ryan Matzook, is the offensive coordinator. Danny Matzook's son. You know, Bob Badaki was an offensive lineman on their on their WPIAL championship team in the early 1990s. He's their offensive line coach. So it really, you look at all the good programs around, guy, in the WPIAL. Cohesion of assistant coaches is vital.
You know
and
what?
The guys that stay around for a long time as assistant coaches and really don't care about being a head coach, it really, really helps.
That's true in college. That's even true in the NFL. You know, everybody wants to fire the coach. Every time there's a disappointing loss, you look at the teams that have had the winning records all the way up through the pros over the years. It's the ones that have stability in the management and the coaching. 3rd and 6, 53 seconds to go. Rochester needs to run a play here. They'd like to convert. Waldron across the 20, pushed out of bounds. That's going to be pretty close.
I don't think he has.
No, based on that spot, I think it's going to be a little short, but now they can run another play on 4th down and eat up some more time. 37 seconds to go.
If he doesn't have it, he's only inches away, guys, so even if they don't, it's going to be hard to stop them on 4th down, and even if they don't, Duquesne's only going to have probably about 20 seconds left when they get the football.
1991, they beat Southside Beaver 20-7. 92, they beat Clairton 28-12. 98, they beat Monaca in overtime. I did that game with Sam LaFazzo right here on the Fox Sports Net. 24-18, the final there. They beat Monaca again in 2000, 13-6, and then last year beat Fort Cherry 27-19. We mentioned earlier they tied Westinghouse in 1921, 0-0 for the AA title. It's been a long and glorious history for Rochester football. In fact, that team back in the 20s, Mike, went 25 games without a loss. It's still one of the longest unbeaten streaks in WPIAL history.
You know, the thing about them guys, and you said there, you mentioned their championship scores. In the playoffs and in these final games, they win the close games. It's close, but they have figured out a way to win down here, and they win the close games.
So you see what they have to gain, about 6 inches. But you see what Duquesne has up against them. Even if they stop them, they'll have less than a half minute to go roughly 80, 85 yards. So,
you know, they name that Rochester-Monaca Bridge every year after the team that wins that game. Rochester hasn't won it lately, but you know what? I think they'll give up at naming rights and keep these rights to these WPIAL titles.
Taking nothing away from Duquesne, the Rochester kids kind of hope to get a chance against Monaca again. They lost to them in the regular season, and, you know, they've battled in the playoffs before, but Monaca fell by the wayside last week to this Duquesne team, so they didn't get that opportunity. All right, 4th and 1. Clock's turning, 17 seconds to go. Oh, we're going to get more than the one. We're going to get a touchdown, Nate Waldron. Rochester pours it on in the final minute. It's 26-13.
Nate Waldron again. He was the leading rusher last year, but he's about doubled that total this year. He has doubled. He's gone over double that total. He had 98 yards last year. He's had a fantastic game here today. And the bad news to the rest of WPIAL Class A, Nate Waldron is only a junior.
Yeah, he'll be back next year. And, you know, when you're jammed up like that thinking you got to stop him from gaining 6 inches to have any chance to win the game, it's not surprising that he breaks it and goes over the 200-yard rushing mark in the process.
Only the third running back in the last 10 years of championship play to go over 200 yards. I'll have to check those records. I would think he's got to be very, very close to the best Class A performance in the last 20 years.
And the kick is up by Sam DeJoven, and it's no good. So it's 26-13. The Rams have doubled up the Dukes. It's all over but the shouting now. They'll have to kick off, and that'll be it. Hey, 3 more title games coming up today. Rob King is here. He's waiting in the wings. He'll be calling the AA championship for you between Mars and Seton LaSalle. We got Pine, Richland, and Hopewell coming up later on with Pat Paris. Tonight, Stan Savern will do the Quad A game. And that's the Battle of the Hills, Mikey, when only your research would show that no 2 teams with hills in their name have ever met for a title before.
The Hills are alive.
They will beat tonight. The field looks pretty good. I mean, we were really worried. And
yeah, I've actually been surprised. They rolled it at halftime.
Kept the bands off it.
Yes, no bands will be performing here tonight.
That's why the games were moved up to Friday, too, because the Steelers play here Sunday. They had requested that instead of the usual Saturday. 2 things happened this year. Thanksgiving fell very late.
Right.
And the Steelers playing the same weekend asked them to play Friday, so you get kind of the odd thing. Usually this is Saturday of Thanksgiving weekend, but this year it's the Friday before.
I think in 2 years, Guy, when Fox is doing these games down here, you will see either the field turf or the Astro play on Heinz Field. Pine Richland has it, North Hills has it, a number of high school teams have it. It's a great surface, it's soft, it doesn't play like artificial turf. I think you'll see it here.
The problem is it's about $800,000 to install, so
yes.
they'll try the sodding another time or 2, I think. Short kick, squibbed, taken by Duquesne's David Diggs. He gets it out over the 40, 4 seconds to go. Rochester ready to erupt. Their fans are already celebrating on the sidelines, standing up. You see a lot of them with the jackets. We showed you the guy with the jacket with the 3 straight titles listed. And on the other side of the field, the far side, some dejection. The Duquesne fans just sort of sitting there, but they supported their team all year. And they got good tradition at Duquesne in basketball. You know, all these schools, you know, they're good in all sports. And it's just funny how it works out that way. Either have athletes or you don't. And both of these programs have athletes in almost all their sports.
But clear some room in the trophy case. It's getting a little crowded down there at Rochester in that trophy case, but they got to make some more room.
They have more trophies than students.
Good point.
All right, this will be the final play of the game. 4 seconds to go. One more snap for Duquesne. Do you just kneel down or do you try to make something happen?
And Rochester right now has about 16 players on the field. They're trying to get...
they don't want to be out there when it ends.
They're trying to get a few substitutes in just to give them a taste of Heinz Field, but they had about 16
Duquesne, same thing. George Little in at quarterback for Duquesne, and that's a nice thing to do for, you know, these kids. Some of them will get a chance to come back. Some are their high school careers are ending. Some will never make it back. And there's Gene Matsuk now, very happy. congratulating his players and his staff. We're going to Hershey.
Well, not yet.
I know.
Not yet.
That's what the shirt says.
I'd be surprised if they don't. As we said, as the
Clarion
last play of the
Limestone,
game.
the winner, is that?
Clarion Limestone and Bishop Carroll.
That's tonight in Harrisburg?
That's tonight in Altoona.
Altoona, okay. And that's the final play of the game. The Rochester Rams from Beaver County have won their third straight WPIAL Class A title. The final score does not show how tight this game was until the fourth quarter. The Rams 26, Duquesne 13. There's Pat Monroe. The congratulations on the field. Terrific season for the Dukes. You know, he's a little bit disappointed. They battled it out. It was tight. A lot of respect for each other. Both of these coaches spoke very highly of each other's programs and players. And good sportsmanship here as everybody shakes hands at midfield. The trophy presentations and such will not be held on the field this year either. Already the tractor is out there, rolling the field on the far sideline, wanting to get it ready for the Mars St. LaSalle game, the AA game, which will be
a dominant